Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. Welcome. Happy Friday. I hope you're doing awesome. It's good to see you guys. I feel like it's been some time, but I'm here. And I bring friends, and we're gonna play some golf. And I'm happy to be here with you guys. But yeah, let me go grab everybody and get some golf up. We are live.
Oh, we're live?
Yeah.
I'd like to thank my parents for making me alive.
For aliving you? Yeah, you've been alive.
Hi, live.
I was charging my battery and then
my feet feel dead. I was sitting on them for too long.
You cannot sit on that foot. That one hurts.
Oh, kitty.
How's the foot getting on? Is it like in good progress? It still fucking hurts. Oh no, I bet that because your fucking cat can't sit on it. I mean, he can. That's just really ugly.
All right, everybody in the game that's joining the game.
No.
Rain's the slacker.
We had about.
I've been distracted with Baldur's Gate.
Oh, ST Haddis.
I have not done it.
The one time I am alive in forever. Just kidding.
I don't even have stream up or anything.
Nope. Thank you for the follow, Prince. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. Sixer! Welcome, Sixer. Welcome.
Bruh.
Hope you're doing well. Bruh. Hi, this is my first time watching your stream. Sorry it took me so long. No worries. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Nico, Afro. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Yes, it's me. Venus from Hive. Oh, nice. Awesome. Welcome. Rain, thank you for the sub. Thank you. Oh, no.
Did it?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Do it? Oh my god, yes.
Hi, friend. How are you today? I'm doing great. Christ is there. Thank you for the sub, Christ. Thank you. Thank you for starting the hype train. Thank you. You know the girl who posts AI art? I'm the one who posts AI art of my likeness. That's really cool. I'm gonna have to go back and look tonight and refresh my memory because I love AI art too. By the way, it's so beautiful. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there you are. Oh, that's gorgeous. Yes.
You sound sleepy, Rain.
It's beautiful. I love it. Temporary tea! Oh my gosh, thank you guys for all the subs. Thank you guys. I don't know what I did. Wanting to watch you play and support you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sixer with all the Nico knees. Sixer, I hope you're feeling a little bit better. And thank you for the hype, guys, because my hype man is somewhere and I don't know where my hype man is.
Fucking right here.
500 biddies! Oh my gosh, Parker, thank you so much for the biddies. Thank you for the hype train. Grace is incredible. No, you guys are incredible. Yeah, thank you for hanging out, Venus, and thank you, Prince, for coming by. Yeah, I mean Prince Venus, or is it Princess? I can't even spell. I can't words tonight. I can't words. Yeah.
There we go.
But yes.
Hey, Jake.
Venus, thank you so much for coming and supporting my stream tonight. It's been a really long week, so if I can't words very well, it is because my brain is tired and it is mush, and I have wine, and I'm ready to play some golf with friends. Hype Human said I can't talk. Oh no! Did they say you weren't allowed to hype anymore? No. What did you do? Parker, thank you guys. Thank you for the overwhelming support. I know it's been a while since I had a stream. You guys are just flooding in. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. High five. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yes, it's gorgeous. I'm looking at your profile picture. I can't see it yet. So pretty.
Nice.
I love it.
Oh,
It's so pretty. Hype, hype, hype. Oh, Price is coming in with his own hype now. Alright, are you guys ready? We're gonna hit play.
Yeah, we're ready. Yeah.
Where's Lady Rain still debating her life? Oh, okay. So you wanna join the next round?
Yeah, two-second pee break.
oh, we're on teams.
That sounds hectic. Venus, that sounds hectic.
I just want to see some holes. 18 holes.
You had problems in your Discord that you didn't know were there. Oh, no. So what do you use for your AI art? Do you use Midjourney?
We're doing teams, are we?
Are we?
It is, but it's all
I
good.
don't know. It looks like it.
No, we're all in
I had teams off at the moment.
Yeah, we're all in a different
I think
game.
it's enabled.
No, it's collision mode. Oh, it says everyone can do teams if they want to. Ah,
Oh, we're all in different teams.
I think I'll take that one.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You guys are in different teams. It works out.
I've worked it. My art is a hobby I do. I love it. I played with it a little bit. I've used Midjourney and Dolly mostly.
There we go.
I like posting my likeness. It's very accurate too. I also, yeah. It's awesome. I like all forms of art, and I think there's so much you can do with AI, and it's its own art form itself. Rain came back with a kitty cat.
What?
Love AI art.
I'm back, bitches.
Poke catch, guys. Don't forget your Pokemon.
So adorable.
Woo! Let's go.
I can't find my Pokemon. There.
And they'll mellow out as they age. I'm sure you know.
Alright, we're gonna hit start.
No, she's 15. Fuck off. No. She is 15. Kimono.
She's the tiniest kitty. My friend Rain is in our Discord showing us her kitty cat, and she's the tiniest kitty, and she's 15 years old, and she's a beautiful gray kitty.
I need
Can you
plug
please
in my
back out?
nose.
Can you please back out?
Why?
Maybe.
Because I stepped back away from the fucking customization and I came right out of the whole thing.
Oh no, you left us?
You're stuck. Yeah, like a fucking idiot.
No! Okay, we'll try one more time. Retire.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna put my mouse in it.
I tell you.
Retire.
Used an anime filter to give it some fix 90% style anime look. That's cool. Hollow! Have a wonderful stream at work, Kitsy. Welcome, Hollow! Posture check, drink water. Thank you, Hollow.
Dream, you owe me a room when I go to Scotland.
Are we
All the way.
involved?
I'll definitely give you a room.
Hope you have a blessed day. Thank you. I promise also. You're struggling. I promise things will get better. Don't give up. You got this. I'm proud of you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Kimono.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Alright, Kimono.
Unga bunga. Thank you.
Let her do her check.
Yeah, I gotta do the thing all over again because people did things and stuff, and they accidentally borked themselves. So now I got to get this going again. Thank you for that follow. Thank you, Unga Bunga. Thank you so much. Okay, we're back to hosting mode. You guys know the passwords. So I'll jump back in.
Gotta go log out of the
18
game.
holes.
Then
because I was in a game all by myself. It was
Yes, because
Well,
you're
just blame,
special.
Just blame Dream.
Yeah, blame Dream.
Yugoki and Firestorm. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everyone. Yugoki, you're gonna come play with us. Firestorm, you're welcome as well. Oh my god, it's a trap. Firestorm with all the traps. Sounds about right.
I can't wait for.
Not a problem at all. But yeah, thank you, Unga Unga. Actually, borked is the #1 cause of reset. Yes. It is Yugoki. Huh?
I like your lipstick.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I decided to be a little dark and mysterious on a Friday. Why not? I think I've already like eaten half of it off though, sadly. Or it's on my glass.
It's raining here, so it fits the bill.
Sixer's eating his sandwich. Yep, total trap. Firestorm's a trap. Lurk, lurk, lurk. Thank you for the lurk, Firestorm.
Funny you say that. It was raining here about 10 minutes ago.
Alright, anybody need an invite that's not in here already?
Oh yeah, you guys are in the UK.
Yeah.
I think everybody's back in.
Yeah, it was just wrong.
I've
Be
only got
here
one
for a
more month
little
to
at
be in the
least,
UK, mate,
please.
and I'm
Thank
gone.
you, Yugoki. I'm trying to lure a cat with cheese. Yeah, I think you're after a mouse, not a cat. Which actually works, because my cat loves cheese. This is true. Cats do love cheese.
I shouldn't have it though.
Aww, is she purring?
What a sweetie.
She loves her mom.
Aww. Let's see. It's like making sure it's not me that it's loading slow for, but it looks like I'm fine. Hole in one. We're off to a good start. Not really. We'll see. You know it's gonna go downhill. It's gonna go south. I was gonna highlight my message, but like I didn't want to take the attention away from your chat. I'm just a ghost. No, you can't be a ghost. What did you say?
It's collision on, by the way.
Not a problem at all. Did I miss something? Because I am bad about that. I'm really bad about missing some of your. Wait, you're talking about your big highlight, your big message? I totally got your big message because it showed you as a new chatter, so it put you in a box on my end anyway. It basically highlighted you.
Moves, man. Stupid moves.
Do you like Zelda? I do. I have not played it myself, but I love watching people play it. It's such a beautiful, relaxing game. One of my mods, that's like his favorite game is Zelda.
The best thing I love about Zelda is the fucking.
Yes, Jeff Papa.
The wee-
Jeff Papa, his icon looks his icon of himself. His profile looks like Zelda,
No.
or not Zelda, but Link. Link. It looks like poor Jeff. Jeff's gonna beat me. Jeff's gonna beat me.
You hit me.
Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask, best game.
Sorry.
Been playing Zelda Twilight Princess lately. Aww.
I haven't played Twilight Princess in forever.
It's one of the games that I figured I will sit down one day and like play the whole series in my spare time. Spare time's hard for me to find lately though. I don't even get time to play Pokemon, and I love Pokemon.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna get out of last place for once.
I have a Wii, but it's in Ohio. Doesn't do me any good.
No.
We still have one
Which
as
is
well.
Oh no! Next time my holes in
One
one.
nunchuck here.
I'll fucking hold you in one.
You love Majora's Mask.
Push me out of the
Controller
hole.
to my Wii here.
I had a hole in one until you pushed me out of the hole.
I just, you guys talking about Zelda makes me want to go. Hey, listen. I can't do it very well, but hey, listen.
Oh no, that was not supposed to happen.
Who's here got the highest pitch voice and can give me a hey, listen?
Cheers, boys. I just come here.
I love Skyward Sword as well.
Hey, listen.
That was pretty good.
I just got myself a fucking.
Okay, so
With a paper
Michigan
bag
and
on
I
it.
are tied.
I'm picking up. I'm picking up, yeah.
Michigan, I'm coming for you. You better watch out.
I know. I got scared and went into the freaking.
Oh,
I hit the wall. You got scared and went into the hole. What?
No, into the river. In the river.
I did too. I went into the river, and now I'm like just gonna mess it all up. I was doing so good until I started talking smack, and now I just like jinxed myself.
I went straight into the river.
That's what happened. When we
I know,
all
right?
have our sexual desires, and we're always.
Whoa.
A bit far, Steve.
Turtle! Oh my gosh, thank you for the 47 months, Turtle. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm messing up. Hi, Turtle. It's a turtle myrtle. I can't find the hole. I'm failing. I'm talking to chat and I'm failing. I should have did that the first time. I'm just trying to get the 69 points so I can win. But hi, Turtle. Thank you so much. Can I get some hype in chat for that sub? Thank you. And everybody that's new here, if you don't know a lot about me, I'm a variety streamer. I stream community games on Fridays. The most recent thing I've done is like a lot of art. I paint Pokemon and things like that. I do love Stardew Valley though. Stardew Valley is one of my all-time favorite games, so if you're curious. Yeah, it's got all kinds of updates. I haven't checked them out yet.
Anyways, Emily's.
I did retweet about it on Twitter. I was like, ah. Well, I retweeted about the anniversary of Stardew. Go, go, go. And if you like Stardew, I highly recommend Roots of Pacha as well. Roots of Pacha is fun. Let's see. But yeah, if you're curious about my art, I got a little rotating slider doohickey up here. I can put in the corner that shows you the different stuff I paint. It's pretty cool.
I would like to know how much it costs to have a full canvas.
Soon! Soon! I promise, I will get a web store up soon-ish. Like, this year will be the goal. This year I'll get a web store up, and I'll get some art up there and some prints, and then you guys can have it. What? I get it.
Hole in one,
I don't know how.
That's a cool vehicle one, Jay. I like your shiny, sparkly, motor head looking golf ball there, Jay.
I would give you £100 and I'd watch the fucking YouTube. So I want.
Shane, thank you so
I want
much.
to lose 100 pounds.
So I'll be
Years
lurking.
in the making.
73 months. Thank you so much for the lurking and good luck at work this week, Shane. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Is that Shane the Pain?
It is Shane. You better watch out.
Hello
He's
there.
gonna ban you. Oh my god! Kidding?
Yeah, come on,
I just got scared to death. I didn't know if it was coming from chat or if it was coming from Discord or where the noise was coming. Wiggles, your volume was up loud for me. Listen, it wasn't your fault, it was me. But I was like, whoa!
She's streaming too, so we have a lot.
Play some golf with us! You know you want to.
How are you, buddy?
Good.
But we're playing golf with friends, probably.
I did not give it enough heat.
Oh no.
Wiggles, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wiggles, I'm gonna go wiggle.
Much appreciated. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. I feel like everybody's waiting on me. Just gonna take my
Hey,
good
Wiggles.
old
Nice hat.
time. Trying to get to this
Oh!
hole. There you go.
Are you talking about my hat?
But yes, thank you, Wiggles. Thank you, Lemon. Thank you, everybody.
Always.
Just hit people with balls and descend into chaos. Yes! You were right, Cody. You can join us if you want. If you want to play some golf, man. Oh, thank you for joining Discord. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to the community. Or Kimonia. I think we nicknamed it Kimonia one night. There's a long story behind that.
Yeah.
All but two of us
Almost
were
had
drunk.
a 1 in a million shot.
I don't drink.
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Because you're so good. It's okay. You're allowed to be good. I mean, whoever gets to 69 first wins. That's we changed all the rules. And last is first. Last is first and 69 wins. So you can come in here and play it as good as you want or as bad as you want. Oh, Parker, we straight up got that on camera, and then I just borked myself and went back over the wall anyway. So
You said the word 69. I couldn't. Like, I struggled.
man, I love a 69. It's just
I got a 4 on this.
you would.
Sorry, French. Don't leave me.
Oh no!
Guys, this wouldn't we all? Tell them, women, tell them. I'll be here to join in on the next one before I get stolen for something else. Yay, Yugoki! Join us, yes.
This is a toughie.
Get in the hole.
Three and a bit, or just three each?
You won? Oh my god.
You're tied with me. I will never tell you.
I didn't mean to
I
hit
tried
that.
to jump out of the
I
way,
could have been in there for a fucking birdie.
Naughty, naughty, naughty. Fair. My dad's gotten very naughty, but what's new?
Well, like streamer, like chat.
Cheers.
They call it.
Yeah.
Like streamer, like that? No. You guys are off of me. Let's get in there.
Hey, fucking.
Over here talking about eating people in the food.
How you been?
Falling off from the tree, that's what it is.
Doing pretty good. Working my booty off. It seems to be all I know how to do, Cody.
Like,
I work way too hard. When I'm not working at work, I'm working at home.
stuck. I can't move.
Oh, let me
Yes, you do. I know.
find find the hole.
That's like, I have enough work or things planned for this weekend that I need 3 of me to get them done. And so I'm stressed because I can't get all of them done. And I have to decide. And I'm like, no, I don't want to decide. I want to do them all and get them all done. You've been busy not working. Isn't that just the way it goes, though? It's either you're, like, bored or you have never bored in your life because there's too much to do. It's, like, not fair. It's like there's no, like, balance. I need more balance. I need less work.
I've got a wonder.
Just scheduling you downtime. I tried that. I was supposed to have, like, downtime, like, every Wednesday night, and that never happened. I tried scheduling myself downtime. I did. I put it on my calendar, put it in my reminders. I was like, this time to this time, you don't do anything. Take a nice, long, hot bath. You know? No.
No.
It happened, like, twice.
No, that means we just need to schedule more girls' nights.
Yes, we do.
And make sure you don't do any work.
Shotgun being invited.
Guys,
I spend a lot of
the
time in
guys
Twitter watching sports. Do it! I mean, that sounds like fun. Dempsey, welcome!
I'm on in.
I feel the opposite of that. I just started a new job and I just
I don't
finished
want
my
guys' night, yeah.
2nd week yesterday. Oh. I don't know what downtime is. I don't. I really don't. Lady's 100% right. Lemon says you're right, lady.
No, I
Oh
see it.
no!
I know, I need some more. We need to have a girls' night. We do.
Girls'
It's
night.
time. We haven't had one in a couple months. Or no, we had one last month, didn't we? No, we kind of did.
What?
We had Galentine's, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So we did have a girls'
I
night.
heard Hank say my name.
Oh, may have.
Say my name,
I'm talking so much that I can't hear myself think.
Hey guys, we
We
need
stay
a guys
over here.
where we just golf all day. Hey, 30
I mean, play with balls. That sounds like normal. Wait, what? I didn't say that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
We need
whoa,
to finish
whoa,
Fruits
whoa.
Basket when we drop.
I'm streaming.
Yes.
Like, come on.
We need to watch more Fruits Baskets. Yes, I love Fruits Baskets.
Me too. It's a good anime.
I'm gonna watch it and eat fruit.
You
And
realize
some rice
it's
balls.
about the Zodiac, right?
And some rice
Yeah.
balls. Okay.
We know. I've seen it
Some
a million
onigiri.
times. I exposed Mono to it.
I can make some onigiri and
I recommend hot
and Lemon can make some spam masubi because I know she knows how.
Really hot pot.
I'll fucking spine you, Mr.
So we can't do it all together.
I think great minds. Yes. Thor knows how. It does.
Oh, oh, fucking another whole
Use some
one.
spam masubi.
Another one.
Me too. I got a whole.
Michigan and is winning barely, but he's winning.
Watch me. One mistake, I lose. So I have to be very careful.
Ah, I was so close. I was just a little to the left.
To the left, to the
It's a
left.
long shot.
There we go.
And there we go. Oh, yeah. At least I got a birdie. On Hive, I'll post AI art now or to not post AI art now. That is the question. Do it. Post it. Do it.
Oh, okay. I tied Dream. That's good. It's the final countdown
See?
right now. I'm actually getting
If
nervous.
it'll like,
But this is the one I lose at always. Why is it always here? I end up losing. I hate
that
this.
was a lucky
I can't
shot.
stand this. I don't know how to
and
do
thank you
this
for the
one.
repost. Thank you.
I don't know how to do this one.
Much appreciated.
Michigan.
No, you go. I'm winning.
I don't know how to do this.
No, you're in front of me on my screen.
I don't know how to do
No,
this.
that's me. That's me.
You're in front of me on my screen.
It's
This is the one I
8:43 where I live.
I can't do this one. I don't know.
Oh no.
I epically failed that one.
Hello.
That is an
I don't know-
inferior
I
time
don't know how to
zone.
do it. I don't know how to do this.
It is
one.
currently 7:43.
Just to let you know, I don't know how to do this one.
Go to the right.
Bogey, but I'm
Not like right at like two yeets, and jump before you hit the wood. And I messed it up because I'm trying to talk about it. 10 stream streak. Thank you, Dusty.
Alright, that's good.
There we go.
Everybody did worse than me because that means
Oh, no.
I technically.
Let's go.
Michigan wins. I hate this one.
I'm
cannot
2 away from
fucking do
20.
it. Like,
Get away from me, Lon.
fucked
I
up.
have learned
You would've-
once the log hits you, you can still like jump. It's good
You
thinking
were-
about
you-
it.
you were
riding
jumping.
the log.
Well, yeah.
People follow you.
I'm not gonna repeat that phrase, but yeah.
Probably not a good idea.
Kimono, I'm streaming here, so just.
Okay, I'll keep it PG. I'm so sorry, Michigan. You won though. Congrats, Michigan. Or wait, Parker won.
No.
Yes.
well, yeah.
Lady Rain
Nobody had
redeemed
stickers on.
sticker. I still owe you a sticker, so I'm gonna add
I've
this
never
one to
played
the
this
list
game.
though.
I've watched people play it. I've never played this game.
Well,
Dude,
I own
for
it.
your first time.
I have no. I'm not playing. I'm not in.
Ooh, you should get in.
I will on the next
Free
one.
sticker.
We in the lobby currently.
Join the
How do I
game.
get to that?
Top right corner under friends list. If you have anyone who's in the game as a friend, you can try to
Let's
be
see.
Are we getting wiggles in
And the
on this?
password is super obvious. It's
Yeah.
here. I'll DM it to you.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Mono. Oh,
Thank you for the retweet, Shane, Sixer, and everyone.
That's a good
Thank you,
song,
thank you,
that
thank you
as
for all
well.
the retweets.
It is a fucking
I
cracking
DM'd
song.
you the password.
It
I
is.
always sing it to wiggle whenever he comes in.
Thank you all for the follows. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I get Zach doing the.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
And I do the to wiggle when he comes in.
Thank you for the invite to play this game, Reen. I could not have played it without your invite.
I'll
Oh,
invite Cuff while he's playing Pal World.
do it, I dare you. Dare you.
Oh, by the way, do we
I
have
just
Come over
sent him
here.
free.
word yet?
No.
Well, I think it's something we should definitely work on. You know, moving forward. What do you mean, Fucking,
Try that.
Okay.
I'm gonna go neutral on this.
Difference of
Okay. Just post on hi. I will be posting it on my other social media. Do it.
Servers from Kimono's channel to do Power World. Why not?
Power.
Can you rent from Nitrato?
If I had hours to play Power World, I would totally be down to play Power World. But I don't have the hours to play it.
$50 worth of credits on Nitrato.
I don't know.
I wouldn't.
Aww.
It's a server hoster, but
It's beautiful, and the second one's adorable. It's so cute. I love her facial expression.
In case of you fucking rock up and you want this server, okay, no problem. This is like me playing a game.
That's rude, Michigan.
Is everybody in?
And then you can get all the.
I don't like you either.
You can invite a certain amount of people into it. That's it. I don't think it costs money. If it costs money, then fucking don't do it. Are you drinking tea?
Hell no, I'm drinking Corbel and
Let's
Coke.
see.
Fucking say.
It's
Like,
just
fucking,
the
I
biggest
said a
fucking.
mug.
It's
All
the
right,
biggest cup
we're gonna go.
in my.
Fucking hypocrite.
Wait. We got a live stream going?
Wiggles. There you go, mate. There's a cup for you.
Wiggle.
Hi, everyone.
Where?
Hi,
Little
welcome.
guys. Yeah.
Are you-
See that yours says that while mine is all.
All right.
We're ready, Kimono.
Okay, you ready?
Does
Okay.
Jaffron have this game, or did he not say that?
Jaffron has it. If he wants to join, he can. I also have, who was it? Yugoki was gonna join us this round. Yugoki, are you there? Momo! Oh my gosh, you get some hype from Momo!
I don't know. I just got here. I don't know you're playing.
Golf.
Hype.
Oh.
Don't forget to change the course.
I could not figure out where Jaffron went.
Thank you.
Waiting for the draft. Now
I needed that. Turtle gifted a sub to Momo! Thank you,
I
Turtle!
was looking for the draft and not your face.
This is why I love Jaffron, right? Jaffron comes and goes, and then when he does come in, there's like.
Thank you for the course change reminder, because I would totally leave it on that one. I would be like, what the heck?
Like, how can you not tell who Jaffron is? It's like the only.
And then I'm gonna make sure, just because,
person I've ever fucking met
yes,
that has
just because I...
Oh, stop it.
Thank you, Turtle. Yes, high five. Thanks for the hype, Sixers. Sixer's my new hype man.
Someone needs to invite me to play.
Michigan, you're fired. Just kidding.
No, I have a union. I have to protect my
You have to protect your union. No, you're not fired.
I just saw that Turtle gifted a thing to Momo.
Yeah. Turtle gifted a sub to Momo. Thank you. Now to post on my other socials. Do it.
Do I not have anybody else friended on here?
It's beautiful. Go ahead and post it, Venus. It's beautiful. I love it.
Didn't really need to, I guess. We kind of just join off each other.
You're special.
But it said everyone was off or in game.
No, you Momo.
We need to get Jazzy J on this. We need to get Jaffron back.
You're special.
Okay, hold on.
Oh no, look what you did! Now you got them liking each other! Momo started it! Snap! Oh my gosh!
I want competition, so I want Jaffron in it.
Thank you, Snappy! Thank you so much for all the subs! Thank you!
Oh my god.
Some Grabby, Tex,
I'm
Grabby
joining now.
Wasabi, Diaz, and the Nick Dothy. Break the mono, do it? No, you're not allowed to break me. Snappy, thank you so much!
Please break her.
Yeah, Venus, I don't think it'll let you yet. I think you have to chat a little while in my Discord before it'll let you post a photo in there. But it'll happen in no time, though. Believe me. You just talk a little bit, and It'll
Got your
happen.
invite, Tank, your friend invite.
We need Jaffa.
It's okay.
I'm just spreading
Let's
them around
see.
in case anybody needs to get in. And
But yeah, things unlock as you talk and you hang out and you get to know the community. Things unlock and then you can do different things.
Oh, lady sent me an invite, but I typed the password.
Sixer redeemed a sticker.
I remember how we
Yes.
did it the last time to join off.
All right, Sixer, I'm putting you on the list for a sticker.
Top right on the main menu, there's a little icon with the people on it. Click on it and select one of your friends that's in a lobby.
Gun show? No, Michigan. No. Why? Michigan is so bad.
Be much easier that way.
Sounds great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Venus. And then y'all are awesome. No, you're awesome, Snabby. Thank you again for gifting all those subs to my community. You're awesome.
what?
Alright, okay, gun show and black cat ears. Alright, so we got 2 redeems. Besides the stickers, I put you down for the stickers, Sixer. Gun show. I feel like, why do I get so embarrassed when I do this? Probably because I have no muscles whatsoever, and this is like not my thing.
Oh.
I'm in.
Well, now I have to get back in the lobby. No, it's okay, because I know you're kind of struggling over there.
No, because you have to like.
No guns. I don't.
When you type in the password, it's
I really
hard.
don't.
You live on Earth, so you have some muscle because of.
I'm terrible. Oh yeah, and cat ears. I forgot about that part. Let's see, the black ones and the rainbow ones. Okay. Well, you gotta let me wear the one for 15 minutes, and then we can switch.
Red all day long. It's gotta be red.
Emote only mode. Oh my god. Well, they redeemed black, and then they redeemed, Alright, so you guys get to hype for a little bit, because somebody redeemed emotes, so you get to do all the hypes. All the emotes. So, yeah, black cat ears for 15 minutes, and then we'll switch to rainbow. I need a timer.
What colors you got?
Somebody wants to be the timer? Yeah, they're in the Discord. You can look into the channel, and I'll tell you what you can redeem.
9:15 her time.
Yeah, I'll be.
Okay, so 9:15, I switched to rainbow.
Yeah. Apologies for over talking. I didn't mean that.
It's okay, and then but yeah, there's all kinds. I even had the ones for Valentine's Day. I don't know if I actually wore these on Valentine's. I don't think I did.
No, because I don't think we streamed.
I did stream. I'm a slacker, but yeah.
Because it was Valentine's Day.
No, I was going to. I was totally going to stream, and I didn't feel good, so I didn't. I was having
to
this.
fall asleep and.
Was it the week I got COVID? Was that the week I got COVID? Yeah, I feel like that was the week. I don't remember. Or.
Welcome home.
Because that was the day I also injured myself, so yes.
It was the week I got COVID. I was so sick. Alright. Are we done with the emote? Oh yeah, cheers. Are we done with the emote only? Or are we still in emote only? Thank you guys for all the emotes, spamming them. Also, if you're catching Pokemon, Pokecatch, cheers.
I guess we can end emote only.
So they can Pokecatch. Yeah, they can't Pokecatch with emote only on. You don't own that ball?
It's a dude.
Can I buy some? Okay, now I can do it because I bought some.
You look like something out of
Very small.
Sixer caught the Pokemon. Congratulations, Sixer.
Has this like fucking
long
cigarette thing.
Yeah, it was like.
What is that, Lemon?
Smoke cigarettes, but not have it on their mouth because it wasn't ladylike.
That's a Trememus.
No, I understand their ethnicity.
I can hear that. I can hear that. Was that what he said?
I'm just like, what the fuck? And then
Is that what the kitty said? Literally walked to the keyboard. Oh my god! So he's hyped it. Great. I feel like it sounds like he's saying hi. Yeah, I feel like that's it. Remus was saying hi, and he walked on the keyboard and typed for us. He probably was, yes. Okay, we're gonna start this
He's
game.
trying. He'll eventually
Go back to
learn how
it,
to
and
properly
remind me
type.
at 9:15 to switch your colors to rainbow.
I need to calm the ADHD down. I'll be back in a bit.
I think everybody's here. You're leaving?
No, I'm saying just to calm the
No, he's gonna
ADHD.
focus. He's focusing to win.
Oh, okay. I was like, hey, I was gonna hit start. But Dusty, those are so many emotes. I like the little square cube. The cube bird one is cute. And the bunny airs. Pew, 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 pew. Those are cute.
This is Wiggles' first time, I believe, right? Or-
Okay.
How do
We'll go easy and take it slow.
That's what she said.
Oh,
That's
no,
what she said. Hey.
Honestly, let everybody go before you and watch what they do. For this one, it's 3 yeets. That's what we call the bars. So press and push forward until you see like actually it's probably a little bit more than 3. It's probably about 3.5. And you aim toward the right ice cream sandwiches, thingamajiggies, or what do you call those cookies? I don't remember. I'm gonna wind down and play a little Stardew, so I'm gonna lurk a bit. Big hugs. Thank you, Livin! Thank you. Enjoy your Stardew. And of course I mess it up like a pro as I'm explaining how to do it.
Yeah, baby. You're all good.
I spoke, Jeffrem.
You hurting today, baby.
Oh shit.
I know.
And 2, if you hit the left click, you can jump. You know, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm going for a boat ride.
Jeffron's a pro.
But yeah,
He's
if you hit
going
left click, you
swimming.
can jump.
Bogey.
Oh no, you were there and then you jumped out. You wanted the
Little too
cupcake.
far to the right.
Mm-hmm.
You know your mind's nah. Never mind.
You know what? I've been playing a different golf game recently where you have to. The controls
Still
are
here,
different.
guys. Yeah, thank you again, Snappy, and everyone. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for all the redemptions. Thank you for hanging out and chilling. Thank you for the subs and gifting subs to the community. And all the sticker redemptions.
Go for 3. Go for 3. And then you want
And
to go
follows.
to the
You guys
left
are awesome.
of the
Don't
far
Yes,
listen to him.
sorry.
right,
No,
far right
you can
wafer.
aim right, but like
Oh,
also
no.
don't aim too right.
What are you
So
doing?
you want,
Or-
Like 3.5 each.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Attaboy. Told you. 3.
Or
Go,
just
Jeffron!
Right side of the bridge, do not go past the wafer. That's about it.
Attaboy. Told you.
I don't think I've given any hugs.
I'll look after you, son.
Oh yeah.
I hugged, but I hugged random people today.
Crisis stole the hugs.
How does one?
You might only hide your luck from answering.
I
No!
got a hole in one, not even
How many
tried.
years?
Whoops.
Full. If you aim slightly to
market?
the left, it goes
I had a beer in my
long,
hand and I got a
left.
hole in one. Just...
Crisis gets 500 cookies because he got the first hug of the stream.
Oh shit, I got a hole in one.
For me.
Nice.
Wiggles,
Kitty.
you can't copy me.
Now shot Wiggles.
Why did you fucking look out the hole? Focus got a fucking hole in, you know?
And if you're wondering what cookies are one of the currencies on my stream that allows you to unlock and do different things as you're here and you sit and you earn cookies through time and observation. You get to unlock these kind of things. Oops. Crisis, why are you stealing all my attention? I want to give my love to somebody else too.
None of it's for me.
I'm trying, Ray. See? No! It's Crisis is stealing all of it. I'm gonna bite somebody now. I bite. Oh yeah, I bite myself. Apparently.
I found the gap.
I bite. Dusty. I think that's a sign, Kimono. What does it mean? Tell me, Crisis, what does it mean?
No one better knock me. Come on, you pa. Oh, you pa, son.
Run, hide, safe, please. No, I gave it too much power.
I gave it.
Come on, can we jump back in? Oh, it didn't let me jump back in. I was trying to roll back downhill and then jump back in.
If you want to jump, Jaffron, it's spacebar.
I know.
Spacebar.
Is it
It's
like a
it's
skateboard?
click, but
Oh, is
cool.
it escape?
Click.
Pink.
It's a click for me. I'm clicking.
It's a click for me,
Oh, yeah,
too.
click. Yeah, it's a click. Click. Sorry, my apologies. It's a click.
See, in space bars to look around. Like, if you're new to the game and you don't know where the flag is and you're trying to find it, you can push C and then space bar, and it'll elevate you above the course so you can, like, get, like, a, you know,
Like a
bird's eye view.
like a plan view, a plan view of it all.
Or
Yeah, you can helicopter.
Perspective plan. Isn't that what you call it? It's not
Yeah.
like fucking directly looking over it. So perspective
so
plan.
you might have to arc this off the side of the half pipe there, Jeffron.
If you do a trick on the half
you go.
pipe, you'll.
Wait
Now
for
you
the come
just have
back.
to
Wait
turn
for the
around
go.
and
Jump.
Oh, too late.
Oh.
It won't let me jump.
A little bit less.
It won't let me
little
jump.
bit less.
What's the jump? What's the jump button?
The left click.
Left click. Okay.
Yes,
Jaffron,
pointer.
you make that same fucking move, and you left click.
Don't
will
listen.
jump
Just
over it.
learn.
Here we go.
Just learn.
Here's
First
the
of
other
all.
baby. Yes, I had a baby.
Let's get it.
Try all sorts of things after
on.
your initial shot.
Okay, Jaffron, we're waiting on you, man.
I've got my full
I
weight.
think. Yeah, I think
Hit
you're the
left
only one.
click right here.
Out of
Maybe
time.
see if you can jump.
You can go over
No,
part of the
bye
run.
bye.
It's not letting me jump.
The
Okay.
shot's
No?
expired.
Nope.
Shot's expired.
Nope, time expired. I don't
Oh,
think you
time.
can up 12 shots.
It won't let me jump though.
Well, try to jump when you just hit a little bit and see if you can jump. Because at this point, I don't know.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Fucking rock me up.
Oh Jesus. Okay, this one you don't hit full.
Come on. Yeah, motherfucker.
Got this, Jeff.
Aye.
If
Okay,
you go
let's
around
take
the
a shortcut.
If you go around the fill boot like Jaffron's doing, that's a fucking
Shortcut.
heavy course.
Now you got a straight shot at the hole off to your left.
And you don't have to
Just
hit
don't hit
as
it
hard
too
as you
hard.
Jaffron probably got one.
There you go.
There
Look
you
at
go.
that. You did it.
Honestly, it's better to learn
Good job,
by
Jeff.
yourself.
Proud of you.
I've played this game many times.
No, that's fair. We're
But
still
it
gonna
won't-
say.
Oh,
My
I
s-
fucking hate this one.
It won't let me jump.
I absolutely hate
So
it.
weird.
Hole in one. Oh, sorry.
I
Maybe you
hate
need to
this
start
fucking
jumping around. Just jump.
Oh no, Jeff.
The bar!
I hit the
fucking
door.
hate this. I hate it, but I got par.
Aye. Pew.
Fucking love golf with friends. You know that?
Oh.
Man,
I got
Oh,
called
lady.
out,
appreciate it.
Didn't mean to do that. I got a little excited about jumping.
Let me jump.
Chip.
How do you what?
Shit.
Okay, I heard that wrong.
You chipped that, didn't you?
You
Oh.
push very
I
hard.
just hit up. Yeah, I hit the little
It's just
piece.
all
I
done.
literally like full yeeted through the door.
Pull you at the sugar cube, the blue one.
I have found
draw
that
your
my
answer?
mouse is more responsive near the front of the mouse. Near the
Jolly
button.
Rancher. Oh no, I messed that one up. I should have totally got that.
Better fucking quit smashing my balls.
You see nothing. You see nothing.
Balls. You only
I
have
did
one ball.
nothing.
got
I didn't do it.
I got one of them birdies.
Oh me.
Kimono has a fucking incredible knack of just smashing into people's
Boss music. Oh,
Oh no.
nice.
Oh, too hard, damn it.
That's
I feel your pain, son. I feel your pain.
They do seem to adjust the ratio of power it takes for a shot when it updates.
Kenny, I wonder how long it's been home.
Oh no.
There's a cat that lives down the hall from us, and he's just like,
Oh,
"Now run away."
yay! My name just turned blue. Like blue. Sweet! That's awesome. Congrats.
I have a lot of cats next to it. Like, a lot of
Congrats,
cats outside.
congrats.
I just want to adopt what I can.
You should be able to post now. Mhm.
Oh, fell in the middle.
Definitely a game of.
Yeah, there's a selfie section, and then there's like pictures and pets. And then there's art. So if you feel like it's more like art, you can post an art. You just have to.
Nailed it.
I mean, if you're calling it art, you can literally go in there and say, hey, check out my AI art in the art channel.
I lead with 2 other people. That's not good. I'm not gonna have this
Mhm,
long. I don't think.
Going up.
Nobody do what?
Oh, right off his ball sack.
Good job there. Good job.
Through the hole.
Good job, Wiggles.
Yeah.
You gotta
Oh,
go full yeet through his mouth.
there we go.
Oh, and it's 2.5 from there.
You're wrong. Oh no, I messed up.
Oh. Maybe like 37 hits in a row.
I don't know why I'm having trouble with this one. But I do.
Do it, Jeff. I believe in
Perfect
you.
time for
You got this.
So that's 4. No, what is wrong with me?
9
It's
strokes.
the angle.
It's good practice. More experience.
Oh, jeez. I feel like it should be like, no, 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 no.
Headbanger.
Oi. But yeah. There we go.
There it is. There it is. Don't jump.
Michigan, you're killing it. You're kicking butt.
I knew I wouldn't have
You're winning.
I'm pretty sure I'm getting worse.
I get worse sometimes as the night goes on, or sometimes I get better. It just depends on how I start. I started off good, so that means it's gonna get worse. Yeah. Alright, guys, if you catch your Pokemons, go catch.
Damn it,
A
I can't
Bidoof.
move until racing tank
Wild
Jefferson
Bidoof.
go.
Oh shit. That's right, it's the tiny smidge.
Tiny smudge, I'm just in the way. I can't move either till Tank and Jay move either.
I'm almost tempted to split the 2 of you.
Parker, Tink, everybody just move. Dreams is in the way. Jay's in the way. Oh, that was so mean.
I was so set up, but I didn't fucking have a shot.
Thank you. That actually lined me up for an eagle.
I just realized the drunker I get, the less I am able to find the hole.
Really?
Yeah,
No,
that
no,
happens.
Unsurprising.
Stop it.
Rain.
Alright, that works.
Oh
Say it.
no.
He is of
Wiggles,
male
why didn't it
persuasion.
back out? How does this happen?
Some of them seem to struggle with finding the hole.
I'm having struggles with my brain today, so.
I definitely think Wiggles knows how to ricochet.
Who hit me this time? Michigan, how dare you? You're in.
Lady
Was it
Ray,
true?
Michigan.
Jeez,
that
man,
sounded
how dare
really
you.
bad what you just said just now.
That was the point.
She's being bad is the point.
Oh no.
No.
Cat down, cat down.
Okay, so I can't go that way.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
it's
did
true.
you
Yeah,
redeem
You
your
just gotta hit the far jump.
did you redeem your
dropping
codes on
bullion from there.
Genshin?
I did.
Okay.
Jump
did,
over
I
the
did.
small yellow
And I think I responded to your thing too. I was just like,
I didn't look at that.
no. But thank you though for running me. Oh yeah, I also play Genshin, guys. Bidoof has been called by KimonoKat. Crisis is in a constant state of crisis.
The How You Lab app yelled at
My
me. He's like,
favorite
"Hey,
tool.
redeem your primos." I'm like, "I already got them."
Fudge slide.
Fudge slide.
No, it's called
Yeah.
the poop slide, but yeah.
What? Okay, I literally just like full yeeted at the Green Jolly Rancher, and I ended up on the poop slide.
1 3/4, and
There
get
we
the far side of the.
You must have hit
fudge slide
something.
of the-
No,
Inside.
go back down.
Anthemius! Welcome to the stream! Yes, Snappy gifted you a sub! Anthemius, welcome! I hope you're having a good Friday night.
No, you gotta thing.
I get denied the hole in one from the fudge slide?
No. So you hit Wiggles was on the edge, and you guys bumped and.
Wiggles touch my ball. How dare he?
Yeah. You didn't have permission, Wiggles. That's my fault, Touch.
I know.
Her and I touch balls.
It doesn't count when it's accidental, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, Wiggles, I accidentally touched you. Why are you so excited like you never won anything?
Dreams, congratulations! Congratulations on your hole in one there, Dreams. He's dying over here.
It's like you never won anything.
Cheers, Dreams. Congratulations. Cheers, man.
And if it's his first time, I can understand.
I have never got a hole in one in this hole. I promise you.
Congratulations on your hole in one, but
I appreciate it.
How many of the holes have you gotten holes in one in?
A few.
18. 18.
18.
This one was like, this is the one that evaded me. You know what I mean? Like, this is the fucking.
I
The
feel
one,
like my space bar is just not.
the one
working.
you've chased forever.
It's left click.
It's click. It's click. Left click to jump.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I've said that a couple times.
So
But
yeah,
if you
your
move a
index
little
finger
bit-
just
I
click.
think we've been a little loud.
This is the
Yeah,
one
we
where
have.
You know your dad's gonna be.
Okay, I think it's been 15 minutes. We're gonna switch to rainbow ears now.
Yeah, that's roughly that.
I'm sorry.
I totally forgot about time.
See, it's not jumping. It's not jumping.
Yeah, you're supposed to be the timekeeper here. There we go.
See, jump,
Now we
jump,
have
jump,
rainbow
jump.
cat ears.
No jump.
I don't know why it's not jumping.
Whee!
If it's a left click. I don't know.
You're clicking? Not
I think they're on straight.
Look in your settings.
It could be on your settings.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah.
You should probably do
It's
that.
not the default controls, and yeah.
No, I got it.
Okay.
It could be a
You figured it
different.
out?
I did.
What was
I
it?
was a nerd and found some St. Patrick's Day
There it is.
things. This is lucky.
No pressure. But you got
I'm gonna have a good time in DC.
This is lucky.
Hey, don't put
You
pressure
get
on
my
him.
full support. You get my full
Yeah.
support.
I don't know if you
Oh,
see it. It's just lucky. There you go.
That's okay.
Lucky. And
I
then
don't know why he can't jump. It's probably.
No,
And
you
then-
got it.
Alright.
I don't think I've ever owned a set of bunny ears, so I went ahead and bought Easter ones.
Whatever.
Just for the hell of it, because they're
No,
bunnies.
it's.
They're so cute.
I was pushing the wrong button.
Oh,
That would do it.
but yeah.
Good job.
Now you see them.
How do you, Jeff?
Now you don't.
Yeah, now you don't. They're gone. You'll never see them again.
Ever in the whole history.
I like my ears, as you can tell.
Wiggles, this is my spot. Get the fuck out.
Wiggles bit.
Ooh.
Pew.
I was able, but I was a little too strong.
That's what he said. Well, who,
You guys are so bad.
Jeff, run your doing a thing. See?
Oh no! Oh, no. I messed that up a little bit.
Get the fuck out.
I'll take a double bogey.
Pew!
After that miss, I'll take a double bogey. I didn't even get where I wanted to with my first shot.
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
That! I had black lipstick on my arm where I bit my arm earlier. I was like, what is that? I was
How did
like,
it taste? How did your arm taste?
salty.
Probably was not pleasant.
Just like me. You're with a bunch of gamers, of course it's gonna taste salty.
How does it taste? Mediterranean.
Mediterranean? Oh my god.
shit.
Ready?
Must have hit someone
Yeah,
on
a
my
bit
way
more.
up then.
Bit more than slightly just under 3.
The slightly over 3, I think,
Oh,
is what you were shooting for.
We're talking like fucking a good bit over.
Yeah.
Oh, that was almost a swish.
Yeah, we're on like.
Trying to get a swish hole-in-one over there.
I'm not having my second shot and everyone stop fucking bumping at me.
How about you shut the fuck up?
Rude.
Oh, dream.
There we go.
Thank you. I can get there from here. Oop. With 6 strokes.
I have no idea where the fucking hell I am. Like, people just keep bumping.
I know. You're stupid.
Are you ready? Are you done?
And
Wow.
Apparently not.
That's fired.
Hey. For like maybe 1 1/4. Can't do that because Michigan's hit me. Can't do that.
you can't do that because you got hit.
Michigan's just trying to hit me.
Well, you got away from him now.
Michigan just wants to hit me.
He's gonna run out of shots.
Maybe 1 and
So am I.
Oh, it's not me. Oh, okay.
You're
Awesome.
so lucky
Hmm.
that the mafia gods.
That.
Oh.
Nailed it.
Rain, how are you taking?
Genshin's telling me I hadn't logged in yet today.
I hit a couple people.
Michigan, how many shots did you have to fucking...
I know. I don't care.
Genshin tries to own my soul daily. Like, you have not logged in yet today. You need to log in and redeem your dailies.
Don't worry, you won't be in last place. Jaffron's
See.
No,
Okay. Oh.
Oh, asshole.
Sorry, Wiggled. I need to get up.
Alright, I guess I should move.
Oh, thanks, Jay.
Let's get a hole-in-one. Nope.
Sorry.
I'm in the.
I don't think I've ever got a hole-in-one on this one.
I have once.
I'll have to play with others to figure out. Love the graphics. Thanks.
I skipped the half pipe section.
Think it.
You get more points if you do that.
Yeah, fuck.
I'm already in the hole, bro.
Alright, I don't know
I'm already in the
who
hole,
I
bro.
heard smacking their lips, but I'm about to punch you in the throat.
For me?
Probably. If you were eating something.
Wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
I might just add...
Help me in the kitchen.
Do a
It
fucking
wasn't-
lip smacking.
Help me with the chips. It wasn't me.
Do a fucking lip smacking. I love...
Let's see. I missed something. It's probably for the best.
What's the fucking...
I had a straight shot and he hit me.
You
Was
have
my
one
fault.
I got a
I
hole
know
in
you're
one.
behind me.
Hole in one, nice.
It's in front of you.
Where is
Lip smacking.
Hey.
lip
Just look at it.
smacking?
A little to the right.
I'll do what I
That's
want.
you eat it.
I don't like where I'm at on the course. There's like a little divot there. Oh, thank you, whoever decided to move me a little bit.
Well, I was not intentional.
Somebody was so kind and courteous. I was like, I know, like, that
I think it was
not my
me.
favorite spot.
No, I leveled her.
Hi. Thank you, Momo.
Hi, I'm saying hi to you. Hi.
We missed you, Momo. We were talking we need another girls' night. I think you heard it. I'm not sure.
Girls' night.
Ow, that hurt.
Nailed it.
You want to go first, Kimono?
Yeah. Boom. Thank you, Dreams. You gave me the right direction I needed to go.
You stopped me from actually taking that fucking shot. And you gave yourself a
Sort of with the lurks. And Sixer with
It's not a hole in one.
the zigzag goon sticking there.
hole in one.
Eagle.
It
Eagle.
I don't know how she could have timed that.
Ziggy, not Ziggy, Ziggy, sticking his tongue out, but yeah.
Just you fucking use me and abuse me.
Arnold.
Fine, let's go.
Arnold's being, what is that? I don't even know. I shriveled up from the soak, still in
Why am I a bow tie with a
He's
unicorn?
still in there.
Because that's what.
Because I'm the unicorn horn. We were one for a moment.
Way more than that. Jesus, man, that's
This
so
ain't my
fucking
game.
We were one for the moment.
doing that.
Oh, I didn't give it. I feared for my life
Oh,
for,
no, lady,
for
you
a
got
second
saved.
there.
Wow, you were going.
No, I went on going swimming.
Very nice.
It wasn't even an intentional save.
Okay, there we go. Now we get it right.
But it worked out.
Up
Anyway,
the hill.
Efron, you
It
look
might
like
have been
a,
a case of
Into
saving.
the hole.
Efron, you're a very beautiful ball.
At the end of the day, 7 strokes isn't a bad thing.
Do we have any quotes?
Depends on what we're talking about.
At the end
Bit
of the
weak.
day,
9 strokes.
7 strokes isn't a bad thing.
I call that a
It's a bit weak.
A great man, but
It's an
That's an insert and 3 pumps, dude.
intern 3 pumps. Yeah, probably.
I have no comment in this story.
Bit weak.
I step away from Discord. I step.
Anyway, so look at that. Taxi.
Nobody's got 69 yet.
It's a start.
I
That's what I
already
mean. You know, it's not a bad
Honestly,
thing.
I
it's
would
just
love that joke if she wasn't streaming, but
Oh no! Where am I going? Oh wow! Apparently I'm going on the right path, even though I thought I was doomed for death.
Come on, son. Come on, son. Fucking
I help me.
Logos?
why am I hitting too hard?
go through.
What's up? How's it going? Hanging out?
Jump!
You wanna hang out? Let's hang out.
You like my
Andy
fairy
stepped away to make food, and I missed the start of this one. It's okay, we'll be done soon.
I've
I've
got
got
65.
I don't know why.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you for the 65 funds.
That was
You were
pretty
awesome.
happy.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
This is my worst candy.
Oh, motherfucker.
You didn't see that.
There we go.
But thank you,
What's
Jeff.
up, guys? What's up? We're gonna have a bros night.
I've been sitting here eating I'm jelly. I want
Why?
some snacks. I want no. Why did the marbles are evil?
Stop.
The marbles are seeking their revenge because we're not playing marbles.
I know. I want to. Like, I'm done with golf.
Oh,
Because
thanks for the help.
I
Hey,
want
listen! Yes, there it goes! We were talking about you earlier, Jeff. Were your ears burning?
Hi, Jeff.
We were so talking about you.
Ooh, ooh,
Take a
ooh.
bogey.
And like, you were the biggest
Like and rock.
Legend of Zelda fan I know.
Ooh, not that way. Is that a
And I literally was like, hey, listen. And trying to do it all cutesy and failing because of. Ooh, who won?
I did.
Saffron won.
Yeah.
Who got close to 69? No, that wasn't.
I know. There was somebody with 68 there, but I missed who it was. Somebody was like 1 point off. Yes, there's your icon that looks like Link. There it is. I can hear you sipping on the coffee now from the game. From your streams.
And it's empty, alas. Good thing we put
Alright
some
guys,
beer
we're gonna take a quick stretch break because my legs are tired. And I'm gonna go find some snacks.
I have to have
So-
a quick wee as well.
So give yourself like, 3 minutes
Sounds good.
and we're gonna run away and then we'll come back. Yes! Jeff, you're so good at this! He redeemed stretch break right as we walk away. Look at him.
Get the blood
You
going.
got this.
Let's go.
The fuck? I wanna
Alright.
like it.
We'll be right back. Stay put, don't go anywhere.
And getting some root beer from the kitchen.
Okay. Alright. We'll be good. I think I have mine.
I'm gonna actually call it a night, guys. It's
Oh, we'll get some
2:30 in the
sleep.
morning here right now.
Ooh, for real.
Alright, we'll get some sleep. And thank you for playing. I post my
Definitely.
art on
Take
all
care,
my
man.
socials.
Take care.
Awesome. I hope you get lots of likes. Yeah, I'll be right back. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much. I'll be right back. Jeff, you're in charge.
But
You're in
anyway,
charge, man.
Good
Yeah,
night,
I'm on my
guys, and
way.
have a
Night.
good one.
Nanny?
But yeah, I'll leave you in charge, Jeff. We'll be right back. Hi everyone, and back and back and back. Welcome back. Welcome Yagogi, welcome in. I'm glad you're playing with us. You're just in time for Haunted. Are you ready to play some Haunted with us? Welcome back. Thank you, Jeff. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you, Venus. Thank you so much. Alright, let me go grab the crowd here. They're lurking and listening. Thank you for the hype, Sixer. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Tip of my tongue.
We are back live again.
He's got a weird tingle going on with his tongue.
I've never had that happen.
What did I walk into?
I don't know. I'm just here.
I mean, it sounds like a personal problem, but you know,
I mean, I've never had this happen with
depends on how you achieved it. So,
It's from the
I'm gonna go to the bathroom because I know too much.
what rupee are you drinking, dude?
Fago.
Oh, well, that's why.
oh,
It's Fago.
Wait,
Oh.
why didn't Joseph
Yeah.
use the washroom when everyone else was taking a break?
I don't know because now we're ready to start the game, and he just vanished on us.
Oh, you started the
But I
game?
did.
Like,
No, not yet. I'm ready though. But I have a.
Alright, now I'm ready here too.
Whoa, who's that dude?
This Hugo.
You're turning into
is
a
Hugo.
jungle.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that is the carbonation actually.
You know how when new people that I haven't met before, or you haven't met before, their volume's really loud?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna adjust
get
you
that, I get that a
today.
lot.
He's
Yeah.
also just naturally loud.
Yeah.
I
always
always
have to
think of
turn-
him as quiet. Did you say? Gate?
No,
Gate?
I just probably never talked to Yagoki Wolf before, so that's why.
Probably not.
I have been a lurker of the community for the majority of the years.
So fun fact though, I've met Yagoki twice, like
In
IRL.
person,
Oh,
correct.
nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Fuck yeah.
She's met Yugoki more than she's met me in person.
I have, which is crazy. Think about it.
I like your picture. It kind of reminds me of my hair.
So you're gonna be here in 2 weeks for my birthday, right?
Oh yeah, let me get right on that. Mm.
Booking my tickets.
I knew I was forgetting to schedule something.
You want to shoot you one on Steam? If you don't use it, that's fine.
Hmm? You sent me thingamajiggy?
Oh no.
Probably a gift, maybe.
That was to me.
Yogoki.
I'm currently eating my ramen.
Oh, friend. Okay.
I was so mad the other day. I wanted some ramen, and then I found out we don't have ramen.
I eat too much.
Oh no.
I legit had
Alright,
a craving.
everybody in that's ready to go rolling on Haunted.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yes, go ahead.
Alright,
Ghost.
let's
I'm
go.
done with golf because I'm just too haunted for this.
You're too haunted, so you're done.
No, you're taunted.
No, I'm
Lordy.
tainted.
Alright. So, do y'all want to do Marvels next stream then?
Well,
Next
I'm down.
Friday?
Oh,
Okay.
that sounds like fun.
That's fine with me.
Alright, we'll do Marvels next Friday. We'll switch it.
Not.
I was gonna do it today, but I think we've I don't know.
We passed
getting
the.
kinda late.
I don't feel like switching.
Well, you're
That's a lot of work.
Well, that's fair. You having fun?
Yeah. And I'm just gonna sit here and eat all these peanut butter eggs.
I won't be in
That's
chat,
cool,
dude.
that's a good reason.
Do it, be my hype man.
I'm not anymore. The union said I cannot.
I say you can.
No.
Sixer doesn't seem to be present.
Oh,
No,
dear.
I did not.
Sixer is there.
Momo,
Sixer
I
did
said
give hype.
Fago.
Oh, next Friday? Okay, bye, Felicia. Why, are you wanting to play marbles, Jeff? Is that why you're here? To roll some balls?
Over, so I'm walking away.
That was close. Oh no! Don't hit me.
Oh, I didn't get
That
to
was
join in
scary.
on this one. Damn it.
Yes, meant that.
You were slacking. dude.
Autocorrect? Hype.
I'm sorry.
Can't believe you're out here slacking.
I don't know what I'm doing
Did I
here.
join in late or no?
To be fair, I'm slacking. If we do another round, yeah.
What's the draft doing
What's your
outside
side?
the fence?
Mm-hmm.
The stick? I don't know.
Yeah, if we do another game, you can join again.
Don't mind me. Just
How does that work?
I don't fucking know. imaginary.
Alright.
Probably bigger than yours too.
Hallucinating here?
Let's see. There we go. Stardew Valley. We need wooden rocks. Okay, that one was for Lemon because she's lurking and playing Stardew right now.
Wooden rock.
And
Are we
yes.
talking petrified wood?
I don't know what I was talking when I was playing Stardew. Apparently I said wooden rocks.
Oh, you know what? I think you were trying to say wood and rocks, and it just sounded like wooden rocks.
Okay.
Petrified wood is a
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, we know it's a thing.
Sixer is licking Yugoki. Mm.
Wow.
Did
Yep.
you listen to that, Yugoki?
You can run if you choose. Or you can just enjoy.
Or you can
Only if you choose. You don't have to run.
We value consent here, people. Consent is important.
Except for we don't do it when you bite, 'cause I guess that makes you just
Consent
like a
is sexy as
preschooler.
always, yes. I did not consent to that.
It's important.
Consent is very important. Yes.
Ask for consent before you bite and like lick people.
Bite.
I don't think it works that way.
Well, if you don't have consent to bite, they're not gonna like it.
I told
I know.
Wiggles that I wanted to bite, but he didn't.
Maybe I don't want them to like it.
That's very concerning, Mono.
I don't know what happened.
Core, that sucks.
Oh no, where am I going?
I'll take a birdie.
Oh, Wiggles, you gonna take me out for dinner?
Hey, there we go.
Man, you gotta aim for the plate.
There we go.
Not likely.
No!
Take your
Well,
Taco
okay,
Bell,
it's
maybe.
gonna be- they didn't quit it.
I'll get you some drive-through.
Hey, well,
Tacos.
it's better than no food.
This is true.
I like chips.
I want dinner.
1 second.
Jeff wants some Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
My ninja.
No! Who just hit me?
Oh no.
Somebody giving me all the love
I'm trying
taps.
to get out of this.
I don't know, but I'm having difficulty today.
I was gonna say,
They all
someone's
are.
taking the long way around if they're not making use of that hump.
Okay.
Forget it.
Uh-huh.
I'm just having all kinds of trouble. I'm trying to get all the strokes here.
We hump
Gotta
around.
ricochet
Yeah.
off the hill.
Yeah, just hump around.
There you go.
Right? No, really? You didn't see that.
Why did it? I cannot consent to volume.
Wow.
Volume, me being loud.
No,
that.
you're fine.
This game is so dumb.
Bone sweet.
Can be.
Oh, catch, guys. Bone sweet.
My phone has been possessed as of late and decides to just turn volume up on its own.
Mm.
Yeah.
You sure it's not just a sticky button?
It's not, because it would show the volume thing on the side if it was the button, and it's not.
Fuck.
Maybe a speaker problem then.
No, because I mean, I can turn it
Apparently I
all the way
hit
down and then it'll
splash
turn
twice.
itself back up. It's possessed. It's fine.
I'm terrible.
It's probably pumpkin.
Could control
Magikarp use splash. I feel like a Magikarp when I use that one.
It's probably pumpkin. She's out there just telling me she's there.
This command doesn't exist. Enter poke help for a list of all commands. Poke me.
Oh my god.
You mean
Get
boop?
yelled at by the community.
Now you can do exclamation boop. That's a thing.
No, I was actually making a joke, so I'm gonna actually talk to the bot real quick.
Oh, what the hell? I'm gonna blame my mouse.
You're good.
Whee! Whoa, that was close.
Happen to can you also use splash in the wild? Yo.
Oh my gosh.
I suppose the thank you is in order.
Oh.
Oh yeah? Okay.
But
No! I swear
Okay,
it's not
this works out.
jumping.
This works out.
They adjust my jump to not jump anymore, I swear.
God
Need
dang it.
super jump.
Friendly fire.
All the way to the other side.
I never have a problem doing this and jumping across things, and I can't do it tonight for the life of me.
I was not expecting
need
you
hit
to go
the
all the
center
way
of
back
gap
to
and
the.
jump again.
It's like it's not jumping as high.
There it is. Hey!
Hey.
Oh, sweet.
Did it reset you?
No.
That would have
I
been
don't
awesome
know.
if-
I feel like they changed the jump height thing.
Yeah, they kind of did. They got a super jump though, which you might want to try next, but it does like twice as high.
Yeah, because the jump's like lower than it used to be or something. Or I'm just imagining things. Oh, this is some cool art. I inspired by Zelda using my likeness from the art channel. Sweet. Friendly fire. Okay, so I lived.
It is all in your head. You're just imagining things, Mona.
But for how long? Yeah, I know. Like I'm hiding under stuff now.
There we go.
Yung.
Oh, Jesus, I hit the frickin' hole sign.
Good.
Please don't knock me off the course cart.
Oh no.
Hi, Ray.
Ah, dang it.
I just wanted to say hi. I tried to get you again. Apparently. And you ran away. I kissed you many times, Pokemon community games, and you do me dirty. Ah.
Apparently Pokemon community games.
That was
is an
really
idea.
accurate though, if you had more power to give.
The heck was that?
I have no idea what just happened there.
Your butt. I don't know.
Jeffron hit me.
There.
Something fucked up.
Lady, you got some love finally.
I
You
accidentally.
finally got some love.
It's my little ghosty friend. What's up, bitches?
Oh, whoops. I think that's the wrong course?
Yeah, I
Nah.
know.
So it doesn't count?
I'll take a bogey.
Nope, too far. Okay, wait, maybe this works.
Corner. If you're quick, you can jump that corner.
Oh, god dang it.
The ghost.
That worked.
Now you got a straight shot, as long as he doesn't knock you out of the way.
Zip.
Yeah, there it is. And Jeffron, what are you doing in the cabinet?
I'm looking for some.
fun.
I'm looking for some books that I that my grandfather used to own.
There.
They're dusty.
You sure you're not
Sixer
looking to jump
kisses
your
Michigan on the cheek. Aww.
Gross.
I'll be right back.
Okay, alright, let's see where I'm going here. Because I don't know
Oh,
what
you
I'm
did
doing.
kiss me on the cheek. That's very nice. Which cheek was it?
Now there's the question.
One of
That's
them.
the trick question. Which cheek do you prefer?
You look at that, it's like, oh, that's cute, but wait a minute. Which one?
It could be 1, 2, 3 or 4. Hmm.
That was probably 4.
Hell yeah, brother.
You also have to understand that I play this game like once a month, so I literally don't know the maps. I don't know
Once a
where I'm
month?
going.
That's better than me.
Ooh, I did not expect that to work,
Nobody judged
but it did.
That did.
That.
Aw, that's
Okay.
so sweet.
Oh. Down.
Well, I tried to help.
Pew. No, not the. Oh, well. Well,
Sorry.
we found a
It
secret
was not as helpful
hole.
as I thought it would be.
I don't know how I did that. I couldn't do it again. Let's just say that.
Takes a bit of setup, but it does work.
It's time to pour some more wine, though.
Well,
gonna pour the red this time.
Master on us.
I have 2
Yep.
bottles to choose from. See? We had to wait wine tasting before stream, so yeah. More like an excruciating version of me trying to open wine bottles and about giving up.
No, this was me. I couldn't open it. Sorry.
Sorry, I almost gave up. Or you have sake? Nice, I love sake.
Boing, 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 boing. Ah. No, it doesn't work.
Our friend going to love.
Aww.
Why am I stuck?
I don't know.
There it is.
Yep, that's right. Hey.
And now we're going to shoot for the skeleton.
I didn't know there was a shelf up there.
No, yeah. That was good. Very, very
I have
good.
no idea where you guys went to, because I just took the regular ass way.
I am happy for my ball.
I actually
made it.
clean across the floor off this ramp to the right of the skeleton on the far side. And it put me directly on the edge of the other ramp.
Damn.
After the furnace. It was like 3 3/4.
I keep getting stuck on these stairs.
There it is.
Awesome.
I'll take an elevator.
And then.
I'm gonna have to jump the coffin.
Do.
Only you were a little closer to the ramp.
Not a peanut butter cups. I'm sad. I was gonna stop and get snacks on the way home, and I did.
You never did.
Terrible.
Oh, this bitch is back?
Oh,
Fed up.
housekeeping.
Sunday.
Hey, I made it.
I know this dick, I don't have one.
Hello.
Oh, you went to Bees and came back?
I went to Bees because we're playing this
Breakfast.
the Wreckfest. Well, it's not really.
What? They were playing Wreckfest?
No, they're not playing Wreckfest. They're playing fucking Pummel Party.
Oh, but they're in the wreck. Yeah.
I love
they're in
watching
the
Pummel
channel.
Party.
And I'll be honest with you, like I tried to explain to them, being like, this fucking like.
You
this
probably
is
got
how
yelled out, I think.
I didn't get yelled out, just kind of more
Pushed out.
Not enough.
ignored.
Nowhere near enough.
Just
I know everything, but
not
it's not
really
the time for
spoken to.
this. Yes.
Yeah, it's not.
fucking
We-
sucks.
We used to play
Different
Wreckfest
time.
back in the day there. It was fun.
Either or, it's about this wine. and
Nope.
fruit.
Okay.
I just said, like, it's a great,
Aiden.
it's nothing
I know the story.
Different time to talk about that.
I know the story.
So
I don't
anyway,
think I
There
wanna
it
know
is.
it's that bad.
point being is that it's a great.
There
great
was Ball Steve.
Tears? Hmm?
Yes.
Great game, just very much ignored. That's all I'm saying.
What?
You know how
Is that a
I feel.
cheers?
Well, I don't blame them for a good.
Or are you trying to balance it? on
Cheers
your
the
hat?
cheers.
I'm gonna
Hugs,
swat
Sixer
it.
Hugs, Michigan.
2
Here, here.
seconds. Hold up. I need
I don't have my thing open yet. Oh,
Huggy,
I'm out of
baby.
Open faster.
Oh, no. Dang it, I went out.
They get off of the horse's thong.
Flange.
Hit the bookmark.
Cheers.
It wasn't me.
Skull, Ross,
Nostrovia.
Nostrovia.
yeah, aim for the book.
Huggy, what are you doing?
There we go.
No, don't do
No,
that
keep going.
again.
Okay. That worked. That worked out.
A little hard.
What book?
That's what she said.
Oh, you bounce off the book? Like full blast or something?
In the book. I just
Yeah.
Dang.
Full blast or 3/4?
Yeah, you can do full.
It's a full blast.
Come on, get in the hole. There we go.
I've never done it out the book. They gave me a little bit too much power, but still.
Hit R.
That's not
And
right.
That sounds much easier though.
On the right-hand side of the book pages.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
You guys can't fucking hear it, but the fucking sound turned
No,
off.
I missed it.
Gotta hit it harder.
Oh, dang. Didn't even land.
Scared. I'll try again, okay.
I do this all the time. It always gets me in there in 2 shots.
I always try to go between the donkey thingamajiggy. The moose.
Look where you are.
Donkey thingamajiggy moose. All the animals.
The donkey moves, yeah. Totally donkey.
All the
total
animals.
donkey moose.
That's just what we're gonna say. All the animals.
Total donkey moose.
There's a group
Oh,
in here.
Jaffron's at 66.
The
Yeah.
deuce.
No, this
nope.
time.
I don't like that word anymore.
It took you less than 2 seconds.
Oh wow, what am I hitting? Oh, I go through the gorilla's legs and then I hit something else.
It's been a rough day.
Well then.
Happens.
Oh
Marty.
no.
Oh, small child of mine.
I got mine in here too now.
No.
My
Weirdo.
cat is on the bed.
Weirdo.
Holding
No,
solid at third this whole time.
Oh, best number ever. Hello.
Oh, I wish you could see her.
Hello?
She just blends in.
That was weird. as fuck.
Oh.
The best number ever. Hello.
No.
No.
That works.
Alright, Puzzles, you are not helping, dude.
Ugh.
I hope you are aware of
Like-
this. Thank you.
Not
Of course I'm helping, mother.
What am I
having it. No.
But right in my face.
Yep.
Oh,
Cat butt in the face is the best way to
so
play.
good to
Hi,
see you. Hiya, 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 hiya. I hope you're doing awesome, man.
There we
We
go.
miss you.
Fire.
Mama, so
Yeah.
much.
I hope life is treating you well.
It's like this is
Roly Coly appeared. Poke catch if you're catching Roly Coly.
Hi, baby.
I am having difficulties and I don't know why.
Jeff, where you going?
I think it's time for marbles.
Yeah. Take that, depression.
Wrong
I'm
screen
trying
too.
something different.
You don't see anything. There we go. Yup. Okay, finally made it over.
I'm still not sure how that shot made it.
Hi. Hello, mister.
We're doing this. Hello, hello, hello.
I mean, I'm already gonna lose. It
Okay.
doesn't matter.
Roly Coly.
You flick that tail.
There.
That's
You are just having the most trouble getting through this bookcase.
That's fair. I had trouble too. It's okay, Jeff.
I did too. I don't know what to do.
Aw,
I feel like they adjusted the calibrations or something, or I'm just in my brain's been adjusted. I don't know.
Left side of that lower shell. Slightly. Oof.
No, I've just smoked a bunch of.
Figured
crack
I've been
today,
dealing with a lot in life and would come hop in and say hi. Well, I'm glad you came by and said hi. We do miss hanging out with you, man.
I'm glad I didn't actually take a full sip.
But yeah, definitely take time for you and take care of you. And we're here.
It's gonna be a hefty penalty.
Life is crazy. 100%.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say
69! Hey, I got 69! Does that mean I win?
Always.
Yeah.
But it's not the
Oh,
end of
you're
the game
gonna
yet,
dedicate it.
so I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm not gonna do anything else, just kidding.
Just not
that's the
finish
thing,
the
it'll
rest of the
just
match.
Yeah,
Just close
I
it
won.
down, actually.
yeah, I won. We're just
So
gonna
you got-
close the game.
You guys gotta see
Did I
this.
just
If I can get
say?
like. So Mono, you gotta see this. I have your screen
Cheers.
up here on my right hand
Is
side.
she watching?
Buggy.
Well,
Uh huh. Aw, watching the golf game. Kitty.
Just like Brooke does.
Oh,
yeah, they're pretty
Ah,
much.
crap.
Brooke watches too.
Besides
She's
her.
currently sleeping on top of the computer though.
Do you know what's funny? Is that as much as my girlfriend is a very kind of very loving person to all animals, she would probably turn around and be like, "Fuck cats, bring on dogs." Like if a dog is sitting
Okay,
watching
it's
screen
your
like that,
gram
then she'd be like,
here
"Oh,
for you.
that's lovely."
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
lovely,
yeah,
blah,
yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah, blah."
Yeah.
All the
I've
hugs,
never met
man.
my cat.
To be fair, I'm not. I prefer dogs too. I'm not cats' biggest fan, and
Never had a
particularly,
Maine Coon.
I've never really liked black cats to the point to where I have superstitious.
Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
there's
Oh,
tons of
no.
them.
Go in front of your
So,
path.
my wife brings this kitten home. It's all
Good luck
black.
for the Irish.
And she rolled up on me like a little ball, and from day one says, "You're my human." And she could give two shits about
Aww.
anybody else in the house, but if I'm in the house, she's
Where?
well, she's my
It's like
second.
some kind of weird karma, right? So now you gotta like them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Right.
That is 100% your fault. I got
She's sweet.
I like you
Yeah,
because
I
I get to learn
have-
things with you. You make my brain work
I
hard.
think black cats are some of the sweetest ones, and personality-wise, has been my experience. They're like the most.
They have the same energy as an
Living.
orange cat.
I mean, I was
But
I've
they're
seen
a
orange
little
cats though that
funnier.
bite.
I was saying the other day that the best cat that I know of is the Maine Coon,
Yeah,
and that's
we
just
have-
purely because
I
it
can't
kind of
afford
like
that.
Blackhead.
resembles a cat, but it's like naturally a dog.
Big.
There you go.
Actually, if you want a cat that is more dog-like, you want to go with a Bengal.
Yeah,
Really?
but you can teach Bengals to frickin'
You-
bring you food from the refrigerator.
Okay,
Yeah, I suppose.
True.
you guys are saying this, but the
Ah,
best
I didn't hit it
the
hard.
best cat that you can get is a rescued cat that a kitten that you find on the street and raise it yourself.
That is absolutely the fucking truth.
Because it'll
Yeah.
always treat you, yeah, because it'll always
The little
fucking-
rescues are
So remember.
Buggy was a barn cat.
hmm
Those are really sweet.
There you go,
Charlie.
barn cat, rescue cat, anything like that.
Yeah.
They will love you for the rest of your life.
Yo.
I'm sure, for sure.
That's why I'm stuck with Brooke for the rest of my life, because she's gonna outlive me just as fast as I am.
You hit the brain, so yeah.
Here's one
Shit,
for
the
you.
brain
My,
zone.
my wife and I are a little bit older, right? So I'm 44. The
You're
last
like
cats we
a
had
letterbox train, you
lived
can't go wrong.
with us for 15 years, and we thought about that. I'm like, man, so if these cats live through 15, 16 years, I'm gonna be in my late 50s, early 60s, like when they're past. That's insane to me.
Yeah, I've had Brooke most of my life at this point.
I can't
that's
go
crazy.
that way. I don't know how you guys hop across that.
Dang it.
Oh,
My
I don't think the jump works as
You're
good anymore
welcome.
either. No!
oh no!
Somebody hit me!
You hit me!
Oh,
No, it was my first go.
you're just knocking
you
me all
hit
over the
me.
place here. Thanks.
I took a par.
Couldn't
if
help
anybody's
myself.
wondering.
Alright, so where? Okay.
To the left, you can hit C and spacebar to kind of look around.
Yeah, I'm out of time on that now. Oh. Well, thanks for the save, Jeff.
To the wall.
Found
Sure.
the
Yeah, you there.
the hidey hole between the cannon jars.
Oh, now I'm behind a book.
Oh, no. Wait,
Pshong. No! Dang it.
then just go straight down the hall. There you go.
There we go.
I'm not even
Okay.
trying at this
Be able to
point.
shoot from here.
She's such a diva.
Pshong. I like gave it too much heat. 10 strokes.
I don't
We're winning.
understand this.
We're winning, right?
I took
Sure.
five.
I love how Kimono's just like, you give it too much heat, 10 strokes. Well, fucking hell, yeah, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
can't win them all. You gotta try.
Excellent shot range.
And you are just a
Give
little
it your
dirty gamer,
best.
aren't you?
Very best.
It looks like my hands just like floating on just some inanimate object.
Here, baby. Come here. You can do it. You can do it. Come on, you got it. Yeah, that's big girl.
Ooh, why am I yawning? That's not allowed.
They must know that we're talking about them.
Oh, she just got up to stretch. She's been sleeping on top of my computer for a while.
I blame the wine.
Always a good thing to blame.
I got a baby
Okay.
What kind of wine are you drinking tonight?
Two kinds. Sauvignon Blanc and a Cabernet. Hold on. Two here because I was doing a wine tasting thing before stream.
Cool.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Venus. I appreciate it. I will be sure to follow you back. Artist! Oh, Artist is here. It's time to leave, guys. We gotta leave now. We gotta shut it down, evacuate Discord. We gotta run away. Artist is here.
Oh, come on. Oh,
Wine? You can have some. I'll share. I have
got
plenty.
chips.
I made a miss same.
I got two because a friend of mine told me to try Chilean wine, and I had never had wine from Chile, and I like it. It's good. I didn't know whether to get dark or light, so I got both. I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna get both. I'm sure I know what to do with it.
Wine the other day. Is it sweeter or like what makes it so significantly?
Well, to me, it's very.
Chilean, I guess, aside from being made in Chile, I guess.
She's not watching, no.
So my friend worded it as it's spicy. To me, the grapes taste more grapely and is like acidic, not like in a sweet way, but it's acidic, and I can feel like
More ass. Yeah.
I can feel like a tingle on my tongue. I didn't want to hang out anyway.
You usually get a tickle of the tongue with ass.
I'm about to say that was a pause.
But you can hang out, Artist. You know it. Oh my gosh.
Oh no!
But yeah, they described it as like peppery, and it's not like spicy or heat or peppery, but it's just it kind of like it's kind of like that what muscadine grapes do to your tongue when you have the muscadine wine, but none of the sweet. Okay. It's like all the acid and none of the sweet of a muscadine.
Oh well, that kind of works, I guess. Thanks, Kimono.
You're not welcome.
I don't know what I did, but okay. Let's see.
That works.
Oh, a Z pattern. Does that work?
Yeah, there we go.
It did work.
Circling, circling, circling.
No.
Oh.
Throw it out.
Too much.
Okay, so not that much.
Yeah, Brooke likes watching TV and whatnot.
Let's go.
Well, see, the monitor is hers. That monitor is strictly for Kitty TV.
Yeah.
Kitty TV. Oh, see? Rain does the same thing. She leaves the house and turns on Kitty TV.
Well, if my computer's on when I leave and I have time, I'll throw on a YouTube video with birds on it.
I won't do it when I'm not around because we have Jasper. He's a gray tabby, and we think he's part Bengal because he's
to like push it over or something. Oh look, Brazing Tate, 69. You won with 69. Cheers.
We had Kitty TV
wow.
on our big
Congrats.
screen, and he freaking not running, not anything, standing in front of the TV and jump at the TV, which is
wow.
You know, mounted at an appropriate height like a TV is, and yeah. I'm gonna come home and my TV is gonna be on
Hey, Marble Impulse Thomas got in the bedroom. You were gonna say exclamation play. Yeah.
I'm grateful that Brooke understands that.
Well, you keep hearing us talk about marbles for a reason, because I think we're gonna switch to
She'll
marbles.
sit up here and she like will claw
Alright.
at the kind of
Yeah.
claw, but she doesn't like really pull her claws.
Sorry, Goki, you only got one game in.
Oh my god. Okay.
You can hang out
Can
and play
I
marbles
ask you a
with
question,
us.
Kimono? Have you ever played what's it called? Oh, brain fart.
I think
Or you can
that
just
would
hang
be
out.
It's a
it
free
for the
online
moment
game.
for me
No one has
over
no one
here
has.
then.
Okay.
I'll take care of that.
Alright, bye. Thank you so much for hanging out though and playing. I'll
Yeah.
catch you next time.
Indeed, indeed.
Free online game.
Free online
My
game.
own
Yeah.
armature soon. What?
Something codes. It's really good. It's really fun to play with a group of people. Free to play.
I have it.
Is this the one that B's playing?
Michigan! Thank you so much for the Prime Gaming sub. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm just sitting in the freaking lobby on my own.
Much, much, much appreciated.
It's called Code Names. It's really fun. It's just a bunch of so there's two teams. And then you have like you have a bunch of cards and two
Ooh.
kind of players on the team.
They've
that can't
changed
talk.
everything.
So yeah, Code Names. Just look it up. It's a fun game to play.
Okay.
I've played it a few times.
I think you may have mentioned it.
Yeah, it's really fun and it's free to play. No one has to download anything. Just keep it in
Thank
mind.
you, Michigan. Okay, guys, they changed everything. I knew they were launching some new stuff because they're like, oh, wrong thing. What did I hit? Oh, because I didn't capture it. Interesting.
It does look interesting, Jeffrey.
Oh, I think
I
you
gotta-
would really like it, Wiggles. It's like a word
Capture.
game.
Dude, there's these my wife and I play escape room.
Yeah, you were
Escape
telling me
room.
about that the other night.
Those things
yeah.
are so fun, and you can do it just like you can just have one person in
There.
control.
Yeah, they changed everything.
Yeah, damn, that looks different.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs?
So give me a second to.
Pixel, come on, dude.
Well, there's a reason that I think they've made it like cross-platform now.
Oh.
I know they've done a lot of stuff. They've been working really hard. Okay, so I think I have that set up, and then I'm going to.
This is sort of fucking rush. I'm gonna.
Tacos. Did I hear tacos? Tacos will happen. Eat marbles. Yeah. Well, this is cool because I can go straight to the Grand Prix, which I like to do.
Yeah.
Viewers. But map 16. 3. And then we're just gonna like, I guess, map name. Oh. Average time. Community maps. Oh. Laps. Standard.
Wait, are you still playing golf with friends?
No, we're playing marbles.
Oh, marbles. Okay. I gotta open it.
Hmm.
I had it open earlier, but
The
one day
buckshot. Do you remember in Convergence?
my computer was overheating, like watching your stream.
No,
Alright,
you don't.
guys.
Yeah.
Mine does that every now and then.
New marbles. I'm gonna have to move my big head too. And my little EV thing.
Your big head, dude.
I know.
Leave your head gone.
I know, it's like on the way. Okay, hide the art. Come on. Okay, I click on it and I'm trying to move it and it won't move. What does that mean?
That means...
Is it locked?
No. There, finally moved.
Sure.
It wasn't locked, it just wouldn't move. I was like, what the heck?
I think it was locked.
Yeah, it means that you're not marbling hard enough.
There we go. I'll just squeeze right there. Countdown. Join 60 seconds. Yeah, it's all new. The whole interface is like brand new. Desi and Wiggles already in here.
What does it play?
Exclamation play.
Yeah. You can pick a number, they'll give you a different ball.
Exclamation play to join the race. If you have not played this game before, that's all it takes. Exclamation play. If you want to pick a particular design, everyone can play the ones on the left with exclamation play and a number. Or if you're a subscriber, you can pick one on the right with exclamation play and a number. So, there you go. Good head start. And the countdown will start.
And if I don't win, you have to get drug tested.
I think I'm gonna be the first to fall off. He just confessed. He's gonna fall off the track first.
And if you
That is
if you
his
don't
goal.
if you come in last, you have to shave Michigan's chest into
Step on her.
With a dull razor.
Ladol razor? Ouch. Oh my gosh.
into a bow tie.
With a butter knife.
No, I don't like my friends at all. So
I'm sorry.
you know, yeah. I'm glad I have chest. What the hell am I talking about?
3 hours later.
3 hours, yeah. This is the longest. 10 seconds.
I win.
It's gonna be delayed for us, so if we're yelling.
Okay, here we go.
Alright, if I can find myself. You're special. No!
Mono, can we have up to date?
Nope.
On Discord
No.
or no?
What do you mean?
I'll be behind.
No updates for us.
Yeah, if somebody else wants to stream it, that's cool.
In Discord?
Yeah, he wants to see real time. I just don't want to stream it while streaming.
I'll do it.
Because it'll tie me down.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it can be demanding.
Yeah, it might like pull too many resources if I try to. Alright.
Be different.
Oh, look at that!
Should a cheap PC setup.
What does that mean?
Jaffron wins.
That means you guys
Oh.
have to kiss.
It's a bullseye, and it's like whoever gets closest to the center, although you can't. I wish that panel was see-through. So yeah, you can't see it.
Alright.
Yeah, it's whoever gets closest to the center wins.
I was just trying to get to like live update. But it's
Wake up, Mona!
Oh, no,
You're
that's all
special.
controlled
Thank
by-
you.
That's all controlled by Mono.
I know. I'm just saying if
Oh,
she streamed
I
it,
think-
but she can't.
Oh.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, I'm not subbed here. What the fuck?
Oh, that's right, because if they stream, and it's still gonna be behind. I get it.
Yeah.
I could try, but if it slows me down, I'll
No,
have to
don't
look
do
at
it.
some.
No,
Don't do
don't
it. If
stress
you do
about
it, I'm leaving. Okay.
If you do, if I do it, you're leaving. You're leaving anyway. I saw you standing up. No, I'm just kidding.
I stand up and sit
Cheers.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Start the countdown. Desi loves this game. Crisis!
Random pain.
And Mama with her bats. I love them. They're so cute. Jeff eating cheese. Jeff, you know you can join the race and eat cheese at the same time.
Good enough to stretch.
Or is that a cookie? Squeak, squeak.
Yeah.
It might be a heart-shaped cookie.
And I sit here.
45 minutes? What's 45 minutes? Till sleeps. 7 game streak or 7 stream streak. That's awesome. That's a lot. Just in chatting in Discord. No worries, no worries. You just
that I can kind of feel it.
Well, that's not good.
Well, I got an avulsion fracture, so
Ew.
a little piece of bone floating around in there.
da, da, da.
No, I got a
Alright,
little bit of a
Michigan.
fracture in there too.
Yikes.
A tiny piece got pulled with my ligament.
Yeah. That kind of.
Alright, go, 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 go.
Yeah, from the
Alpha, thank you so much for subscribing for 4 months.
Still a
Thank you,
moderate
thank you,
sprain.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I mean,
Alright,
This
we're
is
leaving
like-
people behind.
Shots fired.
Come on,
Like,
come
most
on,
of
come
the
on.
pain I get, you
Don't
know,
get left
like,
behind.
when you glue your skin together and it like
Jaffron,
up a little bit. And
thank
then,
you so
like,
much.
persistent
Hype, hype.
kind of
Hey,
pain.
we got a hype man in chat.
I'm honestly just.
Thank you for the
thinking
hype,
of a
Michigan.
sharp bone moving around in your foot as you
Oh,
walk.
it's not really moving.
And thank you, Jaffron.
It's still
Much,
attached.
You're
much
welcome, my
appreciated.
friend.
Oh, well, that's a relief.
Yeah, but like the pain I
Alright,
get
this
is
map's so
from
pretty.
like some swelling in the muscles. So like you know how like when you would like glue your skin together or whatever as a kid.
Yeah, with like super
Splash.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And, like, that
Almost flashing
persistent, like,
sixer.
swelling.
not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crisis is in the
I
lead.
remember doing
Crisis,
the
how did you
Elmer's
get ahead of
glue,
me?
and then you like peel like the layer of skin off.
Oh, I love doing that. Still do that.
Yeah,
Guys,
Crisis
clearly
got
I've
first
never worked
place.
with epoxy.
Second, third, fourth.
Yeah,
Come on,
I
Michigan.
think I'm
that's
out.
when it happens.
Winner.
Just literally rip your skin off.
Okay. But yeah, we lost
Am I gonna
Jaffron, Dusty, and Wiggles. Y'all fell off.
Yeah.
No,
Woo!
Especially
Yeah,
modelers.
Sad.
I made it. I made it, so.
It counts if you made it.
Weird feeling when
Even
it's
though I'm
not
in 5th place.
thought
But
in my body that I'm like, oh yeah, that's the thing I felt there. before.
Exclamation play to get your marble on the track. Exclamation play. Anybody can join.
Hopefully you don't have to go under a knife to get it removed.
I don't. I don't.
it
I don't.
dissolves if it's that small.
Yeah,
it dissolves.
osteoclast will break it down.
Hey, Rain, I was gonna ask, how's your ankle?
Still hurts.
It's kind of what we're talking about.
Pineapple on pizza. Now I
So
want
sorry.
pizza. Thanks, Jeff. I need some pizza now.
I get random pains here and there, but it's not too bad. It's really annoying. And
J3! Oh my gosh, the J3 snuck in, guys. Can I get
Mono,
a
you
shout out for
turned your own
J3?
button.
I did. I'm good at that. I did it last time too.
Wait, there's a
Have you?
J3
Have you?
here?
Yeah, J3's
oh
here.
yeah, J3's been around for a while.
Those are my
Check out
initials.
this new Marbles makeover. It's pretty
Very
cool.
cool. Oh, J3, he's a VIP. Heck yeah.
Yeah, J3. Another streamer. Need a shout out for J3. Jeff will do it. Jeff will do it.
Yeah,
He's
Jeff,
lurking.
Jeff can find
Sorry.
me his job.
Every
Lays,
time you guys say
Ray's
Jeff, I think
taking
you're
the day
saying my
off.
name, but I know you're talking about Jeff.
Jeff Papa.
Jeff
I
Papa.
forgot to join.
Alright. Up you go. Back down you go. Up you go. And Jeff's in the lead. How are you doing, J3? I hope you're doing awesome. If you're streaming right now, I hope you're having a good stream. Ooh, Teamfight Tactics. I missed that game.
I have a good feeling about this one. I think I'm gonna win.
Go, go, go.
I wanted to wipe your nose.
Did I?
It's running a little bit.
What was the key to make sure we see every? Oh, that's the ghost ball. Christ, this is the ghost ball on this track? Oh, jeez.
You know
He's
that's,
not even in here. And he's being the ghost ball.
What is it? The subconscious? Like somebody says, I got like an itch, and you end up like, yeah.
Yeah. She gets like this little drop like
Yeah.
on
Mama,
her nose, and I had
yes.
to wipe it for her.
Michigan, number 1.
I
I'm
think
always
she's
number
got
one.
some allergies.
Oh, Wiggles
No,
number 1.
I think Wiggles is the
Wiggles
number
shoots.
one.
Oh.
You heard me say it. I said it. I have a good feeling about this one.
No, Wiggles cheats actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, but wait till these fucking things.
Steve eggs
Steve.
Wiggles,
Decent.
I hope
Yeah.
you get destroyed by these.
and the pegs.
Yeah, the pegs.
Oh,
Why are they called the Steves?
Because it,
well, the spinners got nicknamed Steve like way back in like I don't know season 1 of the game, and then now those we call the Steve eggs. When I lurking, just wanted to drop a marble since I saw you on.
Oh, someone got launched. Oh, I kind of like the
Desi.
fact that it doesn't like make the background red. It just puts their little number red or green.
Oh, Michigan.
I won. Yeah.
Drug test now. You,
Okay, I'm dropping it. I'm
you
dropping it.
pup pee
Ah,
I will
Yeah.
right now.
I will.
well,
After stream.
I'm gonna finish. Yeah?
we're waiting on Wiggles to move.
What?
Move, Wiggles.
What's happening?
You're wiggling.
Saffron's trying to finish, dude.
I gotta be right back.
Wiggles is stuck.
What is happening?
I gotta
You're
help
stuck.
my mama.
No. We're
No,
talking
no, it's
about
not
No,
my
you're good, Jeff.
marble.
Go help your mama.
Oh,
Family
Wiggles.
first.
You
4
thought
days
you were gonna
later.
win. You thought you were gonna win, but you actually did the opposite.
listen here, Jerky.
Yeah.
You see that ball right there?
Michigan's cheating.
Yes.
Alright, we're gonna go to the podium and we're gonna see what happens here.
You never call you're gonna win because it never works.
I didn't say I was gonna win. I said I had a good feeling.
Same thing.
I still can't hear
Come
lives
on.
in 6
Come on,
feet.
man.
I hope you
Booty.
have a good night.
We're
Thank
playing
you
with
so
a mama.
much.
Aiden, are you still there? Did you just come back? What happened?
No, Kaylon just
Right
joined.
here.
Oh, I know. Why are you being so fucking quiet,
shut up.
weirdo? Stop it.
Who? Me?
Not you, Kaylon. Fuck you.
Oh,
Damn.
thank you.
Jesus. Shots fired again.
Like,
Damn, bro.
Welcome, Keelan.
Damn. I guess I'll just go. I'll go unfuck myself over here in this corner real quick.
Damn, bro.
No! Don't leave.
Again?
Don't listen to me. I'm just being an asshole.
No, it's all good.
Okay, alright, so we're gonna do the podium thing. Great. Let's go. Drum roll. I think
The winner of all
think
votes.
Michigan won, I really do.
I
Third
think you
place
win. Oh, no.
goes
I
to
don't know. I
Second.
think I'm in second or third.
J3 got third place and I think he rolled and won.
I'm second or
That's
first.
funny.
That's cheat codes. Cheat codes there.
That's a cool ball, I
Mhm.
guess you'd say marble.
I said I was.
They
gonna
all
second
roll
or
like they're
first.
round even though they're not.
Second.
Michigan! Oh,
I'm
how
the-
did I
I'm the
get first?
loser. I'm the
Cheat
first
codes?
loser.
Packs? Yeah.
Kimono cheats. It's her stream.
I mean,
Everybody
exclamation
blames me for
hacks.
cheating.
It's true.
I'm the first loser.
See?
Unbelievable. We need a
There you
drink
go.
for
Rigged hacks. I turned on my. Oh, I just now turned on my hacks. Now you're really in trouble. I wonder when Marble Up is. I'm scared if I know. You wanna do Royale though? Those are fun. Get to beat each other up. Alright, we're gonna go to the Battle Stadium.
Michigan. Fucking go.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna beat
I
each
like how
other
you
up.
targeted me.
Yeah, we can target you.
That's what. Yeah.
Type play.
I'm gonna go
Mhm,
beat.
mhm.
This is the first time I'm ever gonna beat a lady. This right here.
What?
No, I'm gonna beat lady. Rain.
Oh, okay.
First time.
Exclamation play to join, guys. Exclamation play if you want to be in the Royale and beat each other up until your marbles bust.
Hello. Oh, I love Royale. What am I going for Royale?
Yeah, you're just exclamation join. I mean exclamation play. Just said it wrong.
I got the hiccups, hence the reason why I'm not being talked.
We're gonna see who wins.
I'm gonna win because I'm gonna put everybody in a headlock.
You can put everybody in a headlock.
Fit that many heads under your arm.
Well, you don't know how many armpits I have.
Exclamation play.
Oh no.
Exclamation Royale.
And I don't think you could fit 5 heads under there securely.
What?
Alright, we got 36 seconds.
I should have said that.
Wakey, wakey, wakey. Momo. I did get Momo. I didn't even look and see that it said Momo. I just said Momo.
Everybody's gonna target me, and I'm gonna be out in the first.
Alright, y'all guys ready? Ready for
You
this?
can target.
Am I in on this? Am I in on this?
You can.
See those red bars? Those are your health bars. When your health bar goes to 0, you're dead.
You don't target. No, just kidding. It was a joke.
I'm pretty sure it's exclamation target.
And then a name.
Yeah. I don't remember. Yeah.
Me,
Yeah.
This is
J3 just answered that. Exclamation target, KimonoKat. No, J3. No.
I'm gonna let my ball.
Look, he's going after me. Help.
I'm letting my ball.
Oh no. Sus, yes. Oh yeah, everybody target J3. Get him off me.
Target me, it's a hate crime.
I'll know about it. That's all I'm doing. I just let my ball do it.
There. Oh no.
That's what I'm doing. I'm letting my ball do its own thing.
Cause more harm is going
Alright.
I'm still there. I'm completely dead.
Did I?
got too aggressive.
Who died then?
I died, J3 died, Crisis.
Oh, I killed J3 maybe. Maybe that's what it was saying. Yeah, it tells you who killed who. So I killed J3 in revenge for him trying to murder me.
Why y'all trying to tackle me?
I'm not doing anything. My ball is doing its own thing. My ball is doing its own thing.
No! Dreams murdered me. Now it's Momo and Dusty. Momo, Dusty, and Dreams. Uh-oh, Dusty got Momo. How do you do that? How do you do the big razor thing? What are you doing?
Very carefully.
Dreams, how are you doing the red bar thing?
Still not cheap.
My hands are here.
Yeah, he's not doing anything.
We're not gonna call back about that.
What?
Then I bought 4 games today.
Oh.
To be fair, they were on sale. They were like $2 each.
Alright.
So.
Wiggles!
Okay.
What the fuck
Hi.
do you mean target dream?
Yeah.
And fucking clumsy.
You're just now seeing that.
Get yourself the fuck!
Get your ruffles in chat, guys. Leak.
Wasn't me. I know what I know.
It was me. There's Dusty. Pixel. There's me with my own. Lady Rain glowing, looking beautiful.
I didn't realize you could actually
Talon with a
what goes on in this
a
game.
golden ball.
I don't know.
Yeah, on this one you can.
Like marbles. I thought it was marbles.
No, this one you can control who you're after.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can target people.
You weren't even
That's-
in it. I don't know why I even gave you as an option, but
It's like a health bar.
You know what? No, I know. Are we doing this with
my butt's on fire.
WSD? Are we doing it with WSD or are we doing this with the?
No, you can't do anything. You can target.
Use commands.
What? What do you mean? Fuck
Like-
you! It's not Don't no!
I didn't join this one because I wanted you guys to feel good.
No, no.
Wiggles is targeting Michigan. Lady and Cat are targeting Dreams.
How do I move?
Makes sense.
That's targeting me. Oh no!
Let me move. How?
No, Doozy!
You just have to target, dude.
I can't type fast enough.
It sounds great, but
So what I do is I did the exclamation target at and controlled copied it.
Yeah, but
And
how
I
do-
just do
how do-
control
Oh.
and select.
Yeah, but how do I move? Like when I'm in
You don't. You just have to target.
Oh, was that a health
Pick a
bar?
person and go.
Please let me go to the health bar.
Like exclamation mark target. That's all I have to put down in the chat. That's it.
Well, you have to at someone, but yeah.
Of course. But like if I halfway through the game thought I was getting targeted.
Oh, Cal went through the health bar, and then I died.
Or exclamation mark.
No!
And it would come back to you.
Target me.
If Taylor won, that means I get a 2%.
Mhm.
Nailed it.
Okay, I don't know what bloops are. What are
Just hit
bloops?
play.
Oh, that's the
Bloopers?
bloop, 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 bloop. The little bloop, bloop, like those little drop things.
Yeah, I've never played this. I don't even know.
Oh, let's bloop. Exclamation
Do you
bloop.
exclamation play to bloop?
No,
No, you said to say bloop.
You mean fucking like Space Invaders?
No, we're blooping.
We're
Blooping.
We're blooping
I don't know what the heck a bloop is.
Don't know what a bloop is.
Yeah. If there's anything I know, is blooping is blooping. Blooping's gonna be.
Oh, it's
I don't see us.
bloop.
Are we playing or blooping?
I don't know.
Oh, what's the little corner say?
Exclamation.
No,
Play bloop.
No, Dreams. I'm talking to Mono because of all the little settings behind her face.
Oh.
Are we
I don't get what's
blooping or-
happening.
I don't know either.
I think you have to have like currency of some sort.
Oh,
no,
and
you
your
just hit.
currency?
You just hit.
Yeah. I'm not
Is it
rich.
in-game
so-
currency?
Oh,
Maybe
I
it's
don't
like
know
from
what
watching
this is.
streams.
Well, you can have currency because I have the app, you know, the thing that customizes things.
Bottom left. Yeah, must be a glitch.
What kind of?
Oh.
Oh, you have to hit start the game and then do we bloop?
Might be a glitch because I
Do
don't
we
know.
bloop when we?
He says it's glitched.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
Now you bloop?
Can we bloop?
Yeah.
yeah, you have to
What
start
we
the
doing?
game to bloop.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
Is it like
Start the
live?
game to bloop.
Okay.
I'm dead.
Start the game to
We can
bloop.
bloop.
Okay.
it's
Oh, I
just
see what it's
everybody
doing.
can
Okay,
go.
I got it.
Everybody go.
I got what it's doing.
Exclamation.
And you can bloop multiple times.
I can't because it says I can't send an identical message.
Ah, so it's only the mods. that
What?
can- Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, like mods and broadcasters get exception to the 30-second thing.
I
Oh,
think
so
you
they
can.
cheat.
Yeah,
Got
yeah.
Or can
I
can you
can't do
only
it.
bloop after your ball is finished? Can you not bloop while your ball's still in play?
I think
We
you
have
to
a
wait
30
until
second
after.
cooldown. We have a
If
30
your
second.
Really?
ball's in play, if
That's a
You
Twitch
guys
thing.
don't.
We'll have to look at that.
Yeah, you guys don't, but
Wait, is
us
this like
losers?
Plinko or something?
Oh, do exclamation bloop with a W?
Nope, that don't work. Oh yeah, it does.
Does?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Give me all that bloop.
I don't know. That's cool. So I guess you bloop until all the numbers are gone and you see who has the most at the end.
Yeah. So it looks like if you start the game and you just let it sit for however long and then... Wait. There's numbers? It's fine?
It adds up. It's doing math.
Yeah.
And I guess if you hit the glowy ones, you get like extra.
No, you die.
Yeah.
Do you?
Hit the glowy ones, yeah, they kill you.
You did.
Oh, wow. They do kill you.
Yeah, blow you up.
Exclamation bloop chat. There we go. Exclamation bloop
Kinda funny.
chat.
But those...
Well, this is interesting. I've never blooped it before.
I don't see me no blooping. I don't see me blooping. What the fuck?
Dreams, you gotta use a different ending, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing it.
Wait. Follow me, I don't know. Exclamation bloop.
Bloop 1, exclamation bloop 2, exclamation bloop 3. Just keep adding a number.
Bloop 1. Aha.
I think I'm doing it too quick sometimes. As in...
Yeah, and you gotta wait until you're down all the way down to the bottom before you can bloop again.
I'm just blooping.
Nailed it. Exclamation bloop.
This is so much fun.
3.
It's so fun that I have to type every 5 seconds. It's so...
Just copy and
Yeah,
paste
man.
it, then all you gotta do is click with your mouse.
5.
Yeah.
Paste.
I ain't cool
Paste.
enough for that.
6. Exclamation.
No, this is why I'm up top, because I don't have to do that.
Exclamation.
And then how does the game end?
You close the game.
We have to do this for years.
We
What?
can
There's...
sit here and do this forever, man.
Oh, so it's like one of those infinite games you just leave running in the background
Yeah.
and walk away.
I'm done.
Yeah. Looks like
It doesn't end?
I won in my world.
I don't think so.
Control V.
I'm done. If we have to stay
Control
here
V.
for 20 years.
Control.
I was hoping it had an ending.
You win in Michigan, by the way.
I know. I'm done.
Hi.
This is a nice little break one.
Yeah. I guess this should be good, like, if you're taking a break. You're like, I'll be back in a minute, guys. Taking a break. Bloop while I'm gone.
I'm gonna let the bloopers
Enjoy blooping.
be the bloop.
See who can get the most bloop points before I get back.
I am the bloop.
Wait, I wanted to prove something.
Alright, I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it.
I don't even have to.
Oh no, Wiggles came back.
Oh, no, it's alright. It don't matter.
I
Go
think you
ahead.
can
it's
close the game and it'll finish it.
No.
I quit. Does that count? Probably not.
No.
I
I'm
was
really-
Supposed to be
Okay.
in Michigan.
Let's
I am the
Marbles
best
Up.
bloop. You cannot bloop me because I am.
I don't know what Marbles Up is. We're gonna find out what Marbles Up is. Flashy. Collection score. Rage quit.
Flashy.
What?
I don't know. Shift. I don't know. I don't have a mouse yet. Is it like
Shift
processing?
space. No, it's right click. It's right clicked and shift and space.
Wait, what?
What do I do now?
No, it's mono. That's what mono
Yeah, I see. Right click, shift, space, jump. It's not doing anything. doesn't do anything. I have no mouse at all. Like, my mouse just left. It evaporated.
Oh, that's cool. That's fun.
It just disappeared.
I have no mouse. So, like, yeah. Like, literally, I have no control over stream.
Oh. Oh.
I wonder if my mouse died.
Probably and stuck somewhere.
Just press space. See if that moves it.
No, space doesn't do anything. But no, escape isn't doing anything. I mean, it just locked me up.
Yeah. Have you tried Alt F4? Just kidding, don't press Alt F4.
Have you tried to plug in your computer and unplug it?
Are you in Europe? Do you need an adapter?
Oh, Shift Tab did something.
Are you an agent?
Momo, how did you know? What the heck is Shift Tab?
It opens Steam.
Oh.
Steam thing. Like your overlay for Steam that's end game or whatever.
I don't know what that was. Would you like to know more? Steps. Interactive. Try 69 tab. I don't know if I want to go back to that one. I don't know what that is.
Oh,
yeah, probably shouldn't do that one while streaming.
Yeah,
No.
Control.
That might have been what broke it.
I mean, you can
Probably
always
more broken.
use Control Alt Delete.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But sometimes it's fun to find different ways to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just new.
I don't want 16 of them. That's a serious grind when you pick 16. I don't know that I've never hit Shift Tab. I don't know. I don't know, Momo.
Or even like Alt Tab. Alt Tab does that too. But Alt Tab will take you to.
Are you leaving tank?
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna get off for the night. Gotta go
Okay.
to bed at some point.
Okay.
Good night. Be well.
I mean,
You too. Cheers.
right Alt Tab. No, I'm scared to push any of these key combinations. Shift Tab is Steam overlay. Okay, see, I don't do any of the Steam overlay stuff. That's probably why.
Yeah, I use it all the time.
Exclamation play to join the. I am such. I'm gonna burn you for that. No, I burned Jeff. You. Oh. All right, 40 seconds. Poor Jeff. But yeah, I guess I never do anything with Steam overlays. I usually turn off anything that like overplays over top of my games and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's not really like one that'll play over your game. It's like a good way to like quickly access like your friends and stuff like that with Steam. Sometimes I use it when I need to get over to a different window, like monitor. Got all seven.
I think I alt tab to get over to different places when I'm stuck.
Yeah, that's usually what I do. But
Alt tab.
Sometimes if
Yeah.
it's a Steam, if it's a Steam one, I'll try Shift Tab too.
I usually just hit Windows and then.
Yeah, sometimes that works too.
Hmm.
I just don't feel like doing that half the time.
Alright. Grayson's is in here. Momo, Cat, Joffron, Lorraine, Desi, Michigan, Kaylon, Wiggles.
work brain and home brain are very different
Yes.
in how they function.
Well, for me especially, because work brain is Apple and home game is PC, so I'm bilingual and I forget my words when I get home. So.
See, when I go to work every fucking day and I have to install fiber optic to the people around me, it's well, it shouldn't annoy me, but it annoys me to the fact that it's difficult to try and
Watch out for Steve, Momo.
Like the language out of my head to just explain it to normal people as to how we install.
Words are hard. Words are hard. Steve is rude to me. And somebody just got ejected. Chris got ejected. Desi got ejected.
That sounds about right.
Oh, and Rain got first place, followed by Momo.
Damn right. I could just slide right through Steve.
He can't get his hands on you.
So, okay. Do you realize how funny that sounds? How funny that sounds to me every time, because my real name is Steve or Steven. Every time you say it, it's.
Oh no. It's just a Marvel thing. Steve is the Marvel thing. Since the beginning of time.
I know. It's just funny.
It is funny.
I'm just grateful you're a decent one. I've met my fair share of assholes.
I'm trying to remember the full history behind it, and I can't for the life of me right this minute. I feel like there was a person named Steve or something, and then it became a joke.
Is she gonna drop out? Yeah.
He vanished. He's good at that. Sixer! He wanted us to switch to marbles, and then he vanished.
Because he's losing. He's a sore loser.
He's probably talking to
not
somebody.
Not to bring this up again, but my father's name was Steve as well. So.
Nice.
He was a good dude, but he was an asshole as well.
You know, I've been referred to many times in my life.
Exclamation play to get your marble on the track, guys. Exclamation play. Running out of time.
The dirtiest jokes I've ever heard.
Too late.
I feel like that's
Everybody's getting sleepy.
a lot of dads do. At least the fun ones.
Well, he was born in 1953, so
you guys see my shirt?
Dad jokes. Oh my god, loading.
Yeah.
Loading. This was given to me by my daughter for Christmas.
Of course,
I
of
need
course.
to get one for my stepdad. He's really good at making dad jokes.
Oh,
Alright, Steve is hanging on to this Sixer. Lets Momo through, but Sixer's not allowed.
Sometimes I find it interesting that there are days where I love my stepdad more than I love
Callan's in the lead, making his way to the second Steve. Along with Lady Rain. Sixer's still being hung up by Steve in the back. Rain and Callan make it through. Now Wiggles and Cat are trying to make it through. They make it through. Momo's getting hung up a little bit. Oh, Sixer finally made it away from the first Steve. He's trying to catch up.
Fuck off.
Kalon and Rain are duking it out. Kalon makes it out of the tube first. Oh. Looks like Kalon's taking the short track and Rain's taking the long track, but do they both have a speed boost? They both have a speed boost, but Kalon gets stuck by a peg. Oh. Looks like Rain's gonna come out ahead. Oh, but then Wiggles is pulling up a sneak surprise as they enter the third
Wiggles.
Steve. And he passes through the third Steve. And Calon and Lady get caught up with Steve. Wiggles makes it through the baby Steves and makes it through the pegs and makes it in the basket for first place. And we we got Calon trying to hit second, followed by Cat and Lady Rain. Lady Rain gets stuck on a peg. Here comes Sixer and Momo. Sixer gonna pass right by Lady Rain. Is Momo gonna do the same? Nope. Lady Rain makes it in and Momo brings up the back.
How are there three
Congrats.
Steves now all of a sudden?
Look at that. Yes. How's tacos? I'm so jealous. I need some tacos in my life.
That makes sense.
Oh my. Momo, you're special. Okay. Marble Diner. Let's go. This one actually looked pretty cool. I picked it for the artwork, so. Join. Aw. I forgot I had the little heart when I joined. Exclamation play to get your marble talk. You were the one who gave me the idea to get them. Oh, I want all the food. I've been like on this junk food kick, like out of nowhere, like really bad. Like I haven't craved sodas in like years and I don't drink a lot of soda, but all of a sudden I'm wanting Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, and I'm like, why? And now I'm like, huh? Now I'm wanting. I did. I've had a couple of them. And I don't have any at home though. And then.
That's fair. You don't want that.
Yeah, I don't have any at home. I thought about buying a case of them though, just because I'm like on this soda kick. I don't know what it is. And then I've been wanting tacos and pizza and all the fast junk food. I don't know what's going. I'm on a lifelong junk food kick. See, I don't normally eat a whole lot of junk food. I mean, I do eat junk food. Don't get me wrong, but now I'm wanting it every day. I think I'm still trying to store winter fat, even though summer's here. Or spring.
You're only human.
I know. It's Florida. Karn! And all the beef jerky. Beef jerky sounds good too. Welcome, Karn. Welcome to the team. Play. Yes, Otaku. You got your marble on the track. Look at you. Looking all golden. I hope you're doing awesome. Can I get a shout out for Karn, the aardvark? Jeff Papa. Alright, we're gonna come down here. Oh, that changes colors. And these change colors. Oh, look at all the little cars parked around the diner. That's so cute. Weird little alien spinners that lead to the diner. I don't know what those things are. Alien Steves.
They look like micro machines. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, look at the little creature. The toast in the window or something. I don't know. Thank you for the ring. Spoon. Oh my gosh, with 57 people. Jeez, welcome, ladies. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Oh my gosh, you lovely people. Spoo, how are you doing? I hope you're doing awesome. Welcome, everyone. I think they're on ad break too, on top of that. So, oh no. Hey, Kat. Yeah, thank you so much for that raid. Thank you. Thank you for the follow, Amp. Thank you. Alright, we're watching everybody come around the corner here, taking their good old time. This diner, though, this diner one's really cool. Doing pretty well, best they can be. Same to you. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad you're doing well, and thank you again. Thank you so much for sending your crew over here to play. Thank you. I much appreciate it too. I was not expecting that at all. Thank you so much. Alright. Okay, so you jump backwards, Momo, into the funnel. Is that how this works? Karn jumps backwards into the funnel, and so does Jaffrot. Yes, that's pretty cool. All the patterns and colors on this are really cool looking. Thanks for the raid. Yeah, can we get some pipe? And a shout out for Spoo. Oh, you already did shout outs. Thank you so much. Playing games, music, stay dingus. Oh no. Welcome everyone. Welcome to my stream. I'm a variety streamer. I play a variety of games, and I do art on stream as well. I like painting Pokemon, playing Genshin, and I definitely like doing some Friday night community games between marbles and a lot of golf with friends as well. So, and I do play some Bingo Room. But welcome everyone. I haven't played Bingo Room in a little bit though. I've been playing more marbles actually. Wiggle!
I gotta
Come on,
dip
Wiggles.
out. I gotta go get food.
Alright, bye, Callan.
Bacon.
We'll be here.
Jesse! Alright, gonna finish the Grand Prix, guys. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's see who wins. Third place, hacks. I call hacks on that. Total hacks.
Complete hack.
Second place goes to Desi. Congratulations, Desi.
Also hack.
First place goes to Callan. The one who just stepped away and he's not here to claim his win, right? Yeah, welcome readers. Welcome everyone to the stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
And I'm super excited.
Bye. Love you long time.
Bye, Rain. Good night.
Bye, lady. Love
All
you.
right, we're gonna do another Grand Prix, and we're gonna do 3 maps, and then we're gonna pick some Love Is in the Air, Off the Rails, and what will it be? Volabs. Let's go. Lee. Alright. Ready? Ready? Exclamation play to get your marble track, guys. Exclamation play. You know how to play. Let's go. Ooh. Okay, lovelies. I'm heading to bed as well. 5 a.m. Oh my gosh, it's so late for you. Momo, get some sleep. I hope you get some amazing sleep. Sleep well, Momo. But yes, gonna start this timer by the way too. Exclamation play, get your marble on the track, guys. Exclamation play. You have 49 seconds. There we go. And cheers. Have a good stream, KimonoKat, chat, and lovelies. Thank you so much. And Jeff, I'm so excited you're here tonight. That's awesome to see you. I know your work schedule doesn't usually lend you to being here with us and hanging out. So it's definitely nice to see you here tonight. Although you are teasing me with tacos, which is not fair. I really want some food. What did you guys eat tonight? What did you have, Wiggles?
For what?
Dinner.
Dinner? My wife cooked her chicken casserole. I don't know if that's what to
Chicken.
describe it as. Yeah, it's like
That's a
noodles,
food.
cheese, like blackened chicken shredded, and then mixed
Ooh.
all together, and then covered like breadcrumbs, and then baked in the oven.
Blackened chicken.
It's pretty delicious.
Spicy. Whoa! Okay. So that just shot people off the track.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I hit stuff. And now I can't get back out. What did I hit? There we go. I'm hitting all the buttons now. There we go. Alright, Desi. Up and away. I had to, I guess, ask me the other day if we had tuna. What? At work?
I will be right back. I need a refill.
Okay. Alright, good night, dreams. Catch you later.
See you, man. See you, Dream.
All the best. Love you,
Be good, man. Love you long time.
See you, Aiden. Bye.
I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go get a refill.
All right. Okay. So how did I get this menu up by accident that I can't seem to close? I did a good job with that. But yeah. No, let's pay attention to who's going to win and give it down here to the basket. There's the old ghost ball that was changed for this track for my stream. And there we have, up there, Cat, Anby, Moody. The Moody? I like it. Desi, Jeff, and Sue. And of course I turn on hacks and I go first. Anby Moody? I think that's how you say it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Followed by Spoo. None other than Spoo himself. Thank you, Spoo, for playing. My mom and I just had pierogies with fried onions, sausage, sour cream, bacon bits. Oh, that sounds so good. Good game. Thank you, Anby Moody. Thank you so much.
Oh, you would have loved it.
I love food.
I know. That's why I'm talking to you.
I know. I love food. I'm just like, I think I'm starving all the time. I don't know what it is. Thank you for playing, J3. Welcome, J3. Exclamation play to join the race, guys. Exclamation play. Alright. 1 minute. Let's go, let's go, let's go. If you're lurking and listening. I think everybody's getting sleepy.
Do you have a plan for like dinner or before you go to bed? Anything like that? Or snack?
No, I ate already. I had some vegetables and some rotisserie chicken. So I had rotisserie chicken and some vegetables for dinner.
So you probably have leftovers.
Ouch! Yeah, and birthday 3. Yeah, I do. It was good.
Those things are great.
And then, but yeah, and I had easy food tonight. I do a lot of meal prep too. So sometimes I will like make meals in advance and make individual containers and like, you know, store it away for later days. Just because eating for one, you make so much food, so you might as well meal prep.
Oh, damn it, I missed it.
Yeah, you just missed it. You just missed the Grand Prix. You were so close. You tried, Wiggles. You tried.
That's okay.
We appreciate it. I like how this looks kind of like a bunch of forks, like spinning out all the colors down the track.
That looks pretty cool.
And be moody, be watching with that eyeball. Be watching. And Spoo, is that a hot dog? I think it's a hot dog. On a fork. He'd be grilling. J3's taking the lead here. Yep. I like it. I like it. I like it. Apparently they didn't have any cinnamon coffee left, so I didn't get my coffee that I ordered. No! So you order it and they didn't like substitute anything? No, I fell off. J3 fell off. What did we run into? Oh, the gap just opens up, and if you don't hit it right, you just fall through? Is that it? Jeffron! Congrats! It's gonna be Jeffron and Jeff. And then we're waiting for Spoo.
Whoa, what?
Oh no, he fell through too! And so did Anna. Oh no. Okay, okay. Alright, next map. You guys got this. One more map on the Grand Prix, guys. One more map.
I'm gonna win it all.
Uh-huh, you might. You might. Balls lab. What are we cooking in this lab? What are we making? Gonna be interesting. Nope, my dasher was like, they didn't have any coffee, so I couldn't do anything. Ugh, you would think the restaurant would at least substitute something. I feel like often you just like get left out. Oh, Artist is here. Welcome, Artist. Welcome,
Hi,
welcome, welcome.
Artist. I love you.
Calon is still lurking. 23 seconds to get your marble on the chart, guys. 23 seconds. Dun, dun. Next. Let's go. 8, 7, 6. That's so cool that we're in the glass jar. And they're gonna pour us into the
That's
funnel.
like a scientist kind of.
Yeah, we were like some kind of a lab experiment here. We're gonna get poured into the funnel. That's so cool. I think I've seen that one once before.
Oh shit.
There's also Twitch drops right now for coins for this game, by the way. If you didn't see it. Oh, you can get cooked.
Oh, I got
Cooked?
fucking fried. I got
I
fried.
think we all did but Wiggles. We all died except for Wiggles. Like, what the heck? You're used to it? No, Jeff, it shouldn't be that way. You should get what you ordered or credit or something.
Wiggles is a scientist, so.
Wiggles is gonna be it. Wiggles, if you don't survive, then it's like game over. You're gonna be the only one.
Yep.
We're just gonna watch you make your way.
Everybody else fell, hey? Wow.
Yeah, we
Where'd
all
you
got burned.
go? Oh my god, there he is.
Wait,
I was like, what? There he is.
What's
Okay.
up?
I was like, for a second, I was like, where did he go?
But who's that burnt? Who's that other one? Oh, that's just the.
Just the ghost ball. Yeah, it's
yeah,
just the ghost ball.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wiggles is making ground though. We'll just get close up. Oh, look at the smiley in the sky. Reminds me of the Cheshire Cat. Look, see it?
Yeah,
Kind of reminds me of the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Your winners. No, you died.
That means no one won.
Nobody won that map. All right, we're gonna finish the Grand Prix. Words. And we're gonna see who did the best. Here we go, guys. Drum roll. Third place goes to Jeff. I hope that makes up for your coffee. We're all mad here. Second place goes to me. I call hacks totally. I should not be on the podium. And first place goes to Jeffron. So you have Jeffron and Jeff. Congrats, guys. Congrats. All right.
I got first. What?
Yeah, you got first place. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's fun. I don't think
All
I've ever
right.
got
Love y'all.
first place.
I'm gonna get the hell out of here.
All right. Good night. Have a good day.
Right. Happy Friday.
All right.
Good night.
Happy
Sweet
Friday.
dreams. Love you.
Yes, yes,
I'm
yes,
not
yes.
sleeping yet. But yeah.
I'm sure I'll see you
Okay.
somewhere else.
All right. Do we want to do some more marblins or is it time for a raid? We're gonna pass the raid, love. We can totally pass the raid, love.
That is up to you, my friend.
I think it's time because
Yeah.
everybody's sleepy.
Yeah, I mean, do you have to work tomorrow, or?
I do have to work on something, but that's just me. That's not work. All right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna pass the love over to. All right, guys, come help me with this. Give a shout out. You've been lurking. Oh, thank you. All right, get ready to do a raid, guys. You know the routine. No, we're gonna pass it on to another marbler. Since we just got that massive raid from Spoo for marbles, we're gonna pass it on to another marbler.
I love it.
Thank you so much, Spoo. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for bringing your team over here. And thank you for playing with us tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It truly means a lot. Thank you. But yes, everyone, let's go pass on the marbles love. All right, so get your coffee pasta ready. I don't know if they're gonna freak out when we say we want cookies or riot, but we're gonna find out. So open it up, get it ready. While I do these. You enjoyed it? Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I'm gonna let you guys look at the ending screen for a hot minute as I do my credit roll and get your commands ready.